prepared for battle.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know we just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life, cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one. Just practice, just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch and spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know we just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life, cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one. Just practice, just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch and spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip. Select to make your first pick.
Pretty cool. You know, I always considered to have maybe at the end of that to say the more you play versus the more you know. But anyway, what's up, students? Welcome back to the Gaming Academy, aka Gamer Quotient / GQ Asian Dude. I am the headmaster over here, and this is class session 63. And tonight we're continuing a conversation we've been building deliberately over the last few weeks. Now about how we play, maybe why we play, and what kind of relationship we want to have with gaming, especially moving forward this year. As your headmaster, I'm joined tonight by the faculty. If it's your first time here tonight, I'll be joined by Blazing Ace Nelson, Oliver, and holding it down while Nick is sick and out for today. We'll miss him dearly, but hoping he's back with us next class with his segment that we've been waiting for, because I'm excited for that as well. Now, we're going to be kicking things off with This Week in Gaming History in Memory Card Chronicles from January 25th all the way through January 31st, revisiting arcade classics, genre staples, and cult favorites that shaped how we play today. Ace then takes us into the tech, where tonight's lecture dives into the way of the spear, a breakdown of space control, positioning, and battlefield awareness across fighters, action games, and beyond. Man, maybe we should play some dive kick. And tonight, we'll also face another final boss, a reflection titled Choosing Your Pace, Playing with Intention Matters, but how you move through a game matters just as much. So grab your notebooks, grab your controllers, have a seat, because class is in session. All right, let's bring on the faculty over here, all the professors of pain, Mr. Ace and Mr. Oliver. Welcome, gentlemen.
How goes?
Doing the thing.
It's cold, it's breezy, but we're here doing our thing.
Yeah, it's cold, all right.
Turn up the heat today. How's everyone's week, and how are we doing tonight?
Well, my silly butt did something foolish. I busted out Shadowrun for the Genesis for the young folks that hadn't seen it, and it turned into a thing this week. Like, one of the biggest streams I had in a while. People are like, yo, what's going on over there? Like, hey, I'm like, yeah, the doing the Matrix runs are important. I busted that out. I busted out Sim Ant, as you saw. Right? Awesome. Brought back the real classic.
Heck yeah.
Right? And Secret of Evermore as well. And I'm thinking about rolling in the Super Nintendo version of SimCity. Since we talked about that, I'm like, oh, that's the best. I don't care what anybody says. That's the best version right there. Green-haired Professor Wright? Yes, sir.
That's right.
Unlocking some real core
Mhm.
memories and reminding us that reminding us that Will Wright hated kids.
He hated kids. He's like, "You gonna learn something, you little bastards!" Like, oh, I'm like, now I look at ants on the sidewalk. You know what I do? I leave them alone. I'm like, I know y'all down there struggling. You struggling, and I see a spilled candy bar and 3,000 ants. I'm like, right on,
Y'all
brother.
can have that.
I'm like, you get you some. I'm gonna let y'all be.
I was always afraid of raindrops when I was playing that.
Oh man, was rain to mess you up. Whew.
And that one guy who would stay outside mowing his lawn every 3 hours.
Man needs some hobbies.
I was like, damn, go watch TV, man. Stay out of the yard.
The most productive like citizen I've ever seen.
You know, he was really, really involved. I'm like, oh, this is a responsible homeowner. I'm in over my head.
Hilarious. Life of an ant, man, it's rough. That's for sure.
Nah, on my end though, well, the big update for Ball Pit dropped yesterday.
Woo, yes.
That has been a time.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know, I have to like play after the show.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
you
nice.
might want to jump on that.
I must.
Well, let's see. There's that, and I decided to dive into a bit of a classic this week myself, jumping back in and playing some Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Are you gonna beat it with leveling up? Just run through the end all the way to the end of the game.
I haven't knocked off the rust yet. I'll probably try that at some point, but no, this is just okay. I got it on Steam. Let's see what mods can do for it, and off we go.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think on Saturday, Jagos can attest if he's in the chat. I was trying to get Samurai Showdown RPG to work on the Neo Geo CD, and I was like, "Man, this is so old. I have to find a BIOS for this, and and like find the right translation." I about gave up like halfway because I was like, "This is too crazy. I'm too old." Jagos, help!
That's fair.
Send me the final product. But yeah, I want to play that game. I forgot it existed, so I'm excited to like have it in English and actually just give it a shot whenever I get it to work. So fantastic, awesome. All right, anything else, guys? While we dive into our memory card here.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let's get to it. All right, guys, this is the part of the show where we go back in time, sift through our old memory cards, and yes, I do miss those little icons that represent our save slots in all those PlayStation games 1 and 2. Hope they bring those back in some way or form, but this is Memory Card Chronicles. Sweet. This week we're going to be doing January 25th to January 31st, and we got some games on here. A lot of old, a lot of new, a lot of familiar, and some of them kind of sus. So let's get to it. The first one on the 25th. I'm the only one on this list. I wanted to throw this out here because I don't know if people knew this game exists. That rhymed for some reason. Oh, it's all right. This was Capcom's answer to their either 1942 or, if you guys know what game I'm about to say, props to you, but Varth. Varth was their top-down shooter that was really popular at the time, and SNK answered with Ghost Pilots. So I don't know if anybody has played Ghost Pilots on this panel.
Haven't played it. I've heard of it, but haven't played it.
Okay, cool. So let me throw on some gameplay here. This is literally 1942 on the Neo Geo. Imagine the Neo Geo. Top down, just like 1942 with the SNK sprites, right? I'm pretty sure this is the same world as like Nam 1974 or whatever that game year was, right?
When it came to top down shooters though, like that, I missed Ghost Pilots, but I was all in on Aero Fighters 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, yeah, this was definitely before that, and Aero Fighters and Strikers 1945 were the, like, you know, the popular ones. This was like predating that, and you know, this is where it started. pretty fun game. Check it out. I think it's on Amazon Luna. If you have a Prime subscription, it's included for free. For some reason, Amazon Luna just has a bunch of SNK games just for free if you have Prime. So check it out if you can and give it a shot. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. What's our next one here? All right, let's look at this list. Boom. Right on to the 26th, the next day. Let's do Aces first. Ace. This is a good choice because this is a choice I would have made.
Oh,
Also.
yes, brother.
Tell us more about the Guardian of Heroes.
So let's take into account how much we all love, Absalom and online beat 'em ups like Dungeon Fighter, or even going back to stuff like Dragon's Crown and even Golden Axe. But this bad boy right here, Guardian Heroes, like when it comes to evolving the beat 'em up, Guardian Heroes for me is like what SimCity, what not SimCity, but what the Sims 2 University is to Oliver, as far as like recognizing that jump in evolving a particular genre or franchise where it changed the game. I mean, between the killer sprite work, the multiple stages and characters, the RPG upgrading, of course, using fighting game commands for like special moves for each of the characters, lane shifting like in Fatal Fury, and 6-player PvP.
Excellent.
Like you can unlock not just your player characters, but also bosses and just regular enemies, and just go to town in the PvP Coliseum. It is
excellent.
Yeah. Thank you, Shao.
Also, I would argue this was Smash before Smash.
Like, look,
hot take.
I would love to see Final Fight do something like this.
Oh my god, stop. That would be crazy. I love it.
Especially if they decide to go, more like a high res 2D route.
Oh yeah, they could totally make these graphics updated, retro. And I don't know if they're watching, but if you're paying attention, please, that would be awesome. Give us some more.
Look, here's my only gripe with Guardian Heroes. The most recent port was on the Xbox 360.
Yep.
It's been a minute.
It has been a hot minute.
The hottest minute ever, dude.
We need this back. Second, please.
Don't leave us hanging. Don't do that. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard with that stuff when you're like, yo, this is a certified banger, and y'all just leaving it.
Oh yeah, like who does Treasure belong to anybody? Because Treasure is the one that made this game, right?
I think Treasure's still around.
Like they made Mischief Makers, and that was on the N64, and I don't know what happened after that.
Well, we're gonna take a quick peek. Yeah, they're still around. They're private. What have they done in recent history? Oh, staff is very small though. They had less than 10 staff by 2022.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so the company shrunk, but it still exists. Their most recent release was in 2014 on a 3DS.
Oh, okay. Well, was that Code Princess? No, right? That was different. That wasn't Code Princess.
No, that was Code Princess was Atlas.
Atlas.
Is called Geist Crusher God.
Oh man, that's hardcore.
Yeah. And they did Sin and Punishment Star Successor in 2009 on the Wii. So
on the Wii. Wow, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a real shooter.
Okay, so
they still exist, but in a highly diminished capacity.
Oh. And I would absolutely love to see either Tribute Games or Lizard Cube get the rights get the rights to remake Guardian Heroes,
Or like a sequel, or or something.
or yeah,
right?
or do up a straight sequel.
Yeah. No, that it was just this game was just full of great characters. The combat feel was great. Multiple paths. So you're talking about Absalom. This is it. That's what made it memorable for me, at least. Good characters. And also the cool like NPC night. Like that let's talk about when this came out. You don't really get that, and
Yeah.
the NPC night was really cool, in my opinion. I thought that was pretty rad. So cool. All right. Man, you got me riled up here for all right. Next one here is Oliver's choice for Oddworld Stranger's Wrath.
You know, it's a first person game. I don't like first person games most of the time, but I thought it was a notable release because I remember way back when, I know you remember way back when they first started the Oddworld games, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, that was supposed to be a quintology.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was supposed to be 5 games covering different things. And, it took a very, very long time for Stranger's Wrath to come out. I remember it going through some development trouble and all that. And then by the time it did drop, the reception was kind of lukewarm. And eventually, they've basically kind of abandoned the quintology thing, right? But what they did do in more recent memories, they basically went back and did remakes of the first 2 games with Abe. So, and that was all very puzzle based. And then for them to switch over to the shooter format, it was weird for people,
Yeah.
right? Because they were like, "This is an Oddworld. This is that." Unfortunately, they had set the flavor for the series, and they kind of needed to continue with that angle, but this was just such a huge change up that it really threw people off. But they were initially excited about it, though. Like, just like, what is this? Who's the stranger? Stranger, right? Like, the pre-hype was real on this game, and then it came and it went. One of those things. But it always kind of just, it comes up in conversation every now and again. And I think it just caught a re-release not too long ago as well. I'll have to double check my homework.
It was
here.
the HD version, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is actually the HD version. Or the Nintendo Switch.
So it originally dropped in 2005 on the Xbox. Eventually, they ported that everywhere. They're like, so it was an exclusive initially. Then I went to Windows, PS3 on Live. For those of you old enough to even remember on Live, the Vita, iOS, Android, went to the Ouya.
Oh wow, I went on everything.
It went to the Mac, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. The HD remaster was first announced in 2010 for PC and PS3. And then, God, it just keeps going. And and then the Switch version released January of 2020, so 5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that was like a world building thing, Oddworld. I thought it was a brand thing, right? Because you had Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, now you had Stranger's Wrath. I didn't know it was a project of theirs. And
yes,
and honestly, like this goes back to like the Kingdom Under Fire like situation where the first one was like very Dynasty Warriors-y, and the second one was more like strategy. So like if you're like a player that's like, I want to play the second one, and it's like a different genre, you're like, what the hell? That's not what like especially if you don't play other genres but you like the IP, that's gotta be a slap in the face for the gamer, right? The consumer that doesn't do any research. I think this was one of those reasons. Like, they were probably expecting like a 2D platformer like Abe's, and they got first person shooter, and they're like, what the hell?
Right. It got really, really weird and kind of threw everybody off. And after Stranger's Wrath didn't do how they wanted, they just flat out like took a break and just kind of left it. It's like, ooh, like I'm reading right here. After the success of Abe's Odyssey, publisher GT Interactive pressured the company to make a sequel for the PlayStation by Christmas of 1998. In order to make this happen, Oddworld Inhabitants broke from the second game of its original planned quintology. Oddworld Munch's Odyssey and focused on a new game. In order to complete the game in 9 months, Abe's Exodus was developed using the same engine, added improved gameplay, quick save, more cinematic sequences, and more intricate backgrounds. Right, but it really did like mess with them like a lot. Because I mean, to put it this way, Abe's Exodus was never supposed to exist. It was just his Odyssey, Munch's Odyssey, and I think, yeah, Strangest Wrath is like the third, and the rest of the other two are just kind of floating around out there.
Out in
there.
the at this point.
If they had a
Right.
plan, and then whoever was like, nope, you got to change it because this is what's hot right now. Of course, they would be like, oh man, we had it all planned out. Now we got to change everything. Is it match the other stuff? It's great.
Yeah, the third game in the quintology was supposed to be called Squeak's Odyssey. And the basic concept of the game revolved around Squeak, who has been forced to live within a robotic life support device after his body parts have been repossessed. Title was mentioned as early as 97, prior to the release of Abe's Odyssey.
Damn.
Like, they really had an idea, and it just hasn't ever come together all the way. I'm kind of excited though, but right now I'm just saying Oddworld, and there's two things that ain't getting fucking finished in my life: Oddworld and Shenmue. I don't see it happening. Right?
Every time I think of Shenmue like getting a sequel of some sort, I think of like Red Dead Redemption 2. Is that right? Yeah. They're like, we need more money.
Right.
We're gonna need
Arthur.
more money. Yeah. Like, oh my god, that's crazy. I mean, hopefully an indie studio gets it and they do it right or something. Just
Right. Anything.
yeah, anything, something. So, all right, here's another one of your choices here. I'm surprised by two things. Pop it on the screen here. One is one, I've never played this game, but I know of it. So many people at the store when I worked there quoted this game as like one of the most video gamey games out there, right? And two, I was like, Ubisoft? What? Like, wasn't the first one? But they weren't by Ubisoft on the first one, right? That's why I'm like shocked that I see Ubisoft on the number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was just seeing things.
No. It's right. They published.
Okay.
For Grasshopper on that one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us more about No More Heroes 2.
Well, I think No More Heroes 1 is really the story to tell here. Not so much 2. 2's great. 2's great. But it was all the innovative things that they did with No More Heroes that they just duplicated that in No More Heroes 2. And the things that they were doing with the Wii, that was the thing that was amazing right at the time.
Yeah, this is perfect.
And, I remember when I had the Wii, I sat down and, me and my wife were sitting in the living room and started playing it. And just I knew that somebody was smart, right? Going to go do that first boss, yeah, okay. Spin the controls and the saber controls, yada yada. That's great. But it was when Sylvia called him on the phone, and you have to hold the Wiimote up to your ear to hear the damn phone call.
That's cool.
And I was like, this Suda51 motherfucker is brilliant. She's like, what's going on? I was like, no, I'm on a phone call. She's like, shut up. I was like, no. And the whole conversation is coming through. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, word. That's what's up. All right, I'm going to holla at you. Right? It's just, he sold it. In fact, look, I'm not kidding, kids. This is serious. When the game dropped, at any time, and even in No More Heroes 2, if you get a call, you take it on this damn Wiimote to the ear, and you're like, what's the word? What's the biz? But it was brilliant use of the technology that really made it shine. And No More Heroes 2, Suda51, him in straight up sequels, it's not as frequent as you would like. I think we would all like to see a follow up to Killer 7, but Suda51, it tends to be very he's eclectic, right?
That's
He's
a word. Yep.
right. He's eclectic. He is incredibly. What's the other word I'm looking for here? He's very eccentric, but he knows what he's doing and what he wants to achieve with it, right? And so obviously, he followed up No More Heroes, catching everybody's surprise with this one. He added in dual blades. He kind of simplified the flow of everything, and because there were some sticking points with the original game, but this has been released multiple times as well, right? And it did catch a Switch re-release. I'm trying to just double check here.
Let's see. There was a PS3 port of the original No More Heroes that had some content from 2.
Yes, sir. Yep, a couple of the bosses from No More Heroes 2 show up in that HD remake, right? But as kind of like a dream sequence, as to not interrupt the flow of the game, so you could have your cake and eat it too, right? But just eyeball it. Most recent release was actually Windows in 21. Oh, wow. Yeah, so they dropped it on the Switch in 2020, Amazon Luna in 21, and Windows in 21. But I mean, it's easily a classic from that time in that period. Rather than treating the controls as a gimmick, it just never feels like a gimmick. It feels like, yeah, this is how you should play the game. So playing No More Heroes with a controller can feel a little weird. The original one, the follow-up games, not so much. It feels pretty smooth, right? But it's good stuff. It's a fun time.
It's doesn't Suda have a statement like that? Like, I know it's like a Suda joint thing is what they say, but they call it something. They call their games. They have a quote or something for their Suda games. I don't remember what it is, but I thought it's very memorable. Clearly, I just have bad memory.
I'm trying to think.
I thought it was like it's a Suda joint, something like that. Talk about it's like it's their game. They made it or something like that. Chat, help me out here. Maybe you guys are more
grasshopper manufacturer, but I'm trying to remember.
All right, chat. If you guys figure it out, feel free to just chime in. I would love to remember.
No. Yeah, I'm actually drawing a blank on that one. He's a weird dude. He's weird like Kojima's weird.
Yeah, but
oh my god,
in a black leather jacket shades kind of way.
In fact, that's what I want. What I want. I want Suda 51 and Kojima to make a game. I think we'd all have nosebleeds and we'd all fucking die of aneurysms immediately.
It'd be the art house video game ever. It'd be so fun.
Right? It'd be the weirdest shit. Right? It'd be like Katamari with exposition.
I don't think the industry's ready for that quite yet.
No one's ready for
It'd be weird exposition, man.
And there'd be like commentary behind it or something we have to figure out. Whatever.
Right? His shit would get deep. He'd start talking about star systems. You'd be like, what the fuck, man? He's like, the Katamari's composition is made up of 75% nickel. I said, nickel? Right? You're going to get into it. You'd be getting fucking Kodak calls in the middle of a ball roll.
Right. And it has to be like the formula, the chemical composition for nickel is a code for something. Like, that's how it's going to be.
That's how it's going to be. You'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
And of course, it's not that you're getting Kodak calls mid-roll. It's you're feeling the cosmos
mid-roll. And you see the constellation is the constellation of Kojima, because he did that shit to you in Death Stranding too. He did. If you go and you sit in a spa, you sit in like one of the hot springs, and you look up in the sky, you see a fucking constellation. Kojima, I was like, this actual fool did this shit. I'm like, oh, there you are. How you doing, buddy?
You'd be surprised if he didn't do it. That's all.
Right. He's always popping up somewhere.
All right. Speaking of a game, I want to pop up again, and I'm glad you brought this up because this in the FGC, this has been talked about as wanting to return, but I don't think the IP will let it. But tell us more about Tatsunoko versus Capcom,
I think Ace is probably better equipped to tell
please.
you about it. But there's one little fact I wanted to bring up before because I'm like, nope, I'm gonna pass this over to Ace because I know he's probably played it more than I have, right? But one of the main things that got this game to release stateside because it wasn't gonna come out here. Like I distinctly remember this. Capcom was like, Tatsunoko is very, very, very Japanese. It's too niche. We don't think most American audiences are even going to know who the hell these characters are. Yada
Yeah.
yada yada. And one of the absolute supporters, the person who pushed to get that game to come out stateside, you'll never guess who. You ready?
Should it?
Napoleon Dynamite. John
No
Heder.
way. No.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. He was like, yo, he's like, no, we know about Tatsunoko. He's like, get that shit out. No, if you go looking it up, and you're like, huh. Yeah, John Heder. Yeah. Header. No, he was the guy that was pushing really, really hard for it. He was like, no,
Well,
I'm all about
glad
that
he
fighting
did,
game life.
because that right there is one of 2 Wii games that I actually owned.
I
Did
also
they-
own it.
Did they like quote this in the movie at all? Like, like that would be kind of fun if they did that, right? Ah, the art's so cool.
But nah, Tatsunoko versus Capcom is a once in a lifetime crossover because of just the characters that were represented in this game. Like you don't see them very much in fighting games anymore. I mean, Alex is barely making a comeback in Street Fighter 6 in
Soki.
March.
Never seen Soki ever again.
Yeah, Soki. Hell, I'm still mad because like literally my favorite team in that game was Alex and Batsu.
Team Capcom,
And-
I see.
And
For that one.
And kind of the basic score is it's very, very much like the rest of the versus games. It's
Yeah.
very Marvel versus Capcom like. It's just
Well, this is the DNA for
Tatsunoko versus Capcom,
Marvel 3, right? This is basically the DNA
Yep.
from Marvel 3.
Yeah, it was pretty much like this system, and hell, even the MT framework that they pretty much used from that to build Marvel 3.
Well, I mean, I think someday we may see this as in a collection, but it's going to be. I think the Capcom side is okay. It's a Tatsunoko side that's going to be
Because there's a whole bunch of licensing to navigate.
Yeah. I mean, Tekka Man is in this. So Tekka Blade, I think, is anime. Like that's the character I picked. He's in there
Yep,
too.
both Tekken Man Blade and the original.
Yeah. So that's the part that's rough. And that's kind of like one of the issues of like getting games that have like licenses is if you want to get them remade or redone in some way or form, you still have to get permission from those guys.
Yep.
But hopefully we see it and in a collection. That'd be awesome. How cool would it be if they re-release this as like a HD remake and then there's plans for like not a Tatsunoko, but like another like mashup with Capcom.
Brother, you would hear me hollering from all the way across town.
Right? Because I'm kind of over the Marvel versus Capcom because Tokon Souls is coming out, right? But like Capcom versus like something, even if it's just Capcom versus their own universe that I've been kind of hollering this whole time, they can make their own fighting game, fighting their own characters. They have enough characters.
Yeah.
So here's some quick notes that I did pull on it. The game was a mystery game at E3 of 2009. They didn't really lead up or announce or anything like that beforehand. And it was going to be the North American localization of Tatsunoko versus Capcom Cross Generation of Heroes, now subtitled Ultimate All Stars. The game was originally unintended for release outside Japan, but was localized by Capcom due to positive fan reception. Like, no, this is that John Heder thing. He was like, no, we got to have that. That's hot, baby, right? And then, Seth Killian, like who could forget Seth Kill, right?
Skill, yeah.
I'm trying to find the exact quote here. Uh, okay, yep. Capcom's community manager Seth Killian expressed satisfaction with the North American sales of Ultimate All Stars. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom certainly beat the initial expectations. It didn't set any land speed records, but it was a success, Killian stated. And that's really saying something, considering we're talking about a game that was not only never coming out, but has a title that most people can't even pronounce. That's true. However, here's the current status of it, and why we don't see it now. Capcom's U.S. corporate officer, Senior Vice President Christian Svensson, revealed in early November 2012 that Capcom's rights with Tatsunoko had lapsed, thus disallowing Capcom to sell Tatsunoko versus Capcom physically or digitally at this point. So they just haven't renewed it.
Yeah, that's how we lose those games. That's why I'm not a big fan of digital only, because you'll
Yep.
never see them again. I think one of the saddest gaming moments for me was probably in like 2010s ish, where Konami lost the rights to The Simpsons and X-Men,
Oh,
and you weren't able to get the arcade games anymore, even as a port. Like they were like digital downloads, and so they were just lost in time. Like that's it. You can't get that anymore. You know, so it's a shame.
damn it.
So if they were to release those physically, I'd still be playing those games now. But no, even with that, remember that Ninja Turtles game, Shell Shocked?
Yes.
That disappeared too. We can't get that anymore because Nickelodeon bought it from Ubisoft. So
We can't get whatchamacallit, Transformers Devastation, is it?
Right?
yeah, because
I don't activated feelings. Oh no.
Yes, you have.
that's another one. Yeah, that's another one. I know this is going to turn into a rage bait section.
Ooh.
All right. Speaking of rage bait, this game here gives me rage bait. My personal pick for this day would be not a game not too old, just like myself. Tekken 8. Eight iterations of Tekken. And we talked about Tekken 1, Tekken 2, talked about Tekken 3 on this show. I talked about personally how Tekken 4 was my reawakening, my remaster of Tekken. Like I kind of give it up on it after 3. 4 brought me back with a character I really liked, and that would be Jin, the protagonist you see on the screen over here. And 8 is kind of like his finale, and it only took 4 more games to do that. And I would say why I chose this one in particular is because one, I really like the gameplay of 8. It's the fastest Tekken that I've ever played. It's the most and I hate using this term, but aggressive Tekken. Because I read from like an article that like 7 was very defensive, and at Evo people were like basically falling asleep because people were like backing up too much. So they made 8 to be like, if you're gonna back up, they're gonna come after you because we made this game very aggressive, right? And so it is true. It's for those that are very like combat heavy and not as like turtle-ish defense when it comes to their fight style. Also the most annoying and aggravating Tekken game ever because you can die in like 2 combos. So that's also frustrating with that. It's not a perfect game, but story mode, it's got Tekken Ball in it, and a pretty decent roster of characters, costumes, etc. And great soundtrack. For some reason, this just hits harder, pun intended.
No, wait a minute. Tekken 8, is this the one that has Negan as a playable character?
That's
that's
7. That was 7.
Oh, 7. Okay.
Yeah. That was 7, and that was design. Yeah, that was definitely designed to grab attention.
Wait, this one has Noctis.
that
right?
was 7 also.
Damn.
This one has
Yeah,
Clive Rosenfeld.
Oh, okay. All right.
Should have been Tifa, but you know we get.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Let's just,
Noctis and Geese Howard were in 7.
by the way, Geese Howard, excellent choice for a Tekken game. Akuma, excellent choice. Bring other fighting game people that don't play Tekken into Tekken by those characters. I think it's a fantastic idea. Matter of fact, I'm surprised Terry Bogard is not in this game because he's in everything. He's like, he's basically the Tom Holland of fighting games. Like he does everything. So But yeah, I know. Like I play this with Andre in chat. Uh, the best thing about this game, guys, it's functional netcode. Because in 7, I wanted to rip the hair out of my head, even though I don't have any. When I played that game, that was super frustrating. And over COVID, Namco was like, "Oh, we got to get our shit together and have a good online." And they did it with this game, and I think this is why I play it so much, is because I'm having a good experience playing it with other people online. So COVID really did wonders for netcode in video games. That positive thing
Yeah.
about that, because that era was rough when we were just home and we were playing these games with our friends and family, and the lag was just unbearable. So thank goodness for that situation. So here's another game I actually played during the pandemic as well with a bunch of my friends, and I will still play this game to this day because I think it's one of the best games ever made, and that's Monster Hunter World. So, but I am with fellow hunters way more experienced than me in this game, and some people argue that World is better than Wilds. I'm not here to debate that, but I just what I hear on the streets. Please introduce us to the World before the Wilds.
Whew. Well, all I can say is I'm probably the most veteran hunter here. I've been playing Monster Hunter since it literally launched from day one, right? So, to put that into perspective, I've been playing Monster Hunter. Let's see, wait, how old was I when Monster Hunter first came out? I was 22 years old. I've been playing Monster Hunter for half of my life. Yeah, it's like, oh, yes. So, Monster Hunter World was a big deal because historically, uh, the Capcom was very very smart. If you go and look across just Monster Hunter history, you go and look at the original Monster Hunter graphically, right, and take that all the way up through fourth generation. They don't improve on graphics quality a whole lot, right? Because they've got these big worlds with a lot of different things. They focus more on the world interaction than dumping all their time and effort into visuals, right? And so we all kind of forgave that because we're like, yo, this is something you can't get anywhere else. And, for me, what got me into Monster Hunter was the loss of Fantasy Star Online, right?
Mm.
That 4 player, it turns out, like, I figured out, I was like, I don't like MMOs, but I do like playing games with other people. I don't want to get into the big, right? None of that. But that 4 player co op experience is very tight. And that's what got me there. And so, the last release that we had really had that was huge in each generation. Now, this is just for people that don't know. We break down Monster Hunter into generations, right? Like, so when the original Monster Hunter came out, we had Monster Hunter, right? And then there was Monster Hunter G that did not come out here. And it was that basic same expansion idea, just like Iceborne, right? The second generation of Monster Hunter is Monster Hunter DOS, right? And that didn't come out in the States either for some reason. They still haven't put it out. We've never played it. But Wilds and DOS are more closely alike than any other comparisons of games in the series. And then, just skipping over a whole bunch of history there. But I mean, you had a bunch of portables that followed as a result that were still within that generation. So you've got Monster Hunter Freedom, Monster Hunter Freedom 2, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, right? And that's like portable and 2G. But then that explains why Monster Hunter 3 is called Monster Hunter Tri. It's because it was following the naming scheme of Monster Hunter 2. And that was when Capcom really pushed to get back into the North American market. They really, really, really wanted this to work. And I'm telling you this history for a very explicit reason that has to do with Monster Hunter World, right? So they got it out on the Wii. It did a little bit better. It did not dissuade them. But what they did from that point forward, from Monster Hunter 3's release on the Wii, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate comes out on the 3DS. They completely shift off Sony platform, shocks the hell out of everybody, right? Because everything else before Monster Hunter 3, had all been on Sony, right? From the get-go. Because Monster Hunter is one of the games that was originally made at the request of Sony. They went around to all these different companies and they said, "We got this new network adapter coming for the PS2. Can you make a game that would help support that and justify people buying it?" And so Monster Hunter is actually a part of a lineup of titles that were made specifically for the PS2's broadband adapter. Those list of games would be Resident Evil Outbreak, Automata Lista, a cel-shaded racing game, and Monster Hunter. Guess which one is still around? Monster Hunter. So,
And oddly enough, all three are Capcom.
right, and they were all Capcom, but that's why Monster Hunter even exists in the first place, was as a way to try to support that. You can go look that up. You don't have to take my word for it. This is just the history. So that jump from Sony platforms over to Nintendo was kind of a shell shock moment for quite a few people. But Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is going to release on the 3DS and on the Wii U, and they have cross-play and cross-save. So it didn't matter where you were playing. You could transfer it back and forth from the big screen to the handheld. It was great, right? And then, of course, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate comes out. We skipped the base of Monster Hunter 4 in the West. We just didn't get it. They just put it straight on the Ultimate, sold the expanded version right from the get-go, right? And that was a big overhaul to the game series and game mechanics. Most notably, they started putting an emphasis on verticality, right? And then, of course, we had Monster Hunter Generations, which is the equivalent of the Japanese. It was originally called Monster Hunter Cross, and then the expanded version was called Monster Hunter Double Cross, right? And that's where all the styles and stuff came into play. Oh, you can play original guild style or an aerial style, and having brand new super moves that had never been seen before in the series. And then, after we've gotten Gen Ult, it's kind of quiet for a while, right? And Generations Ultimate kind of struggled a little bit, and then we had Radio Silence, and we're like, oh, they're abandoning the franchise and all this other stuff. And then bam, that E3 came around, and it blew all our socks off. All the vets were sitting around biting their nails, cartoon style, like, oh no, right? I remember watching that trailer, and I was just sitting here watching and seeing, and they, there was no title card or nothing. I was like, no fucking way. I was like, bullshit. This can't be Monster Hunter. This can't be Monster Hunter. But I saw that big ass jawbone blade. I was like, no, I know that sword. It's been with me since 2004. And then bust out. And it's like, oh my God, the bastards actually did it. They finally let go of those old things and rebuilt the whole world from the game up. No more loading between zones. One seamless map that you can just run around doing all that good stuff. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. We were all scared. But then the guys who were hardcore Monster Hunter guys who were at that E3, they said, no, we got to see this in a closed session. They're like, guys, it's Monster Hunter. They're like, you feel like, oh no, they're about to fuck this up. They're like, no, they didn't fuck it up. They're like, this is amazing. They've taken this franchise and they have now elevated it, and the sales numbers prove that.
Yeah,
because Monster Hunter World ends up being the biggest, best-selling game in all of Capcom's history. I believe, since I checked before the show went up, I believe they did about 22 million units. It's the chosen one. It's the goated. It is truly the goated Monster Hunter game. It was the game that finally made sense to people in the West. Like, oh, you go out there and beat ass out there in the streets. Then you take their skin and make a new coat and then go out and beat more ass. We're like, yes, we've been doing this for decades. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, I honestly think the story trailer for this game really captured a lot of folks. Like, it made it like a big adventure. I think that's what really caught a lot of people to play this game too.
It was also the first time that they had really leaned on those story elements.
Yeah. Because I took a break from Monster Hunter. I knew what it was, but I just never covered because I'm not a big handheld guy, and this is all mostly on handheld. But
See,
that
yeah.
trailer sold me. I was like, I'm back. I was never here, but I'm back.
The bad news though was that people got through low rank, they got through high rank, and then, obviously it's not called Monster Hunter 5. They said we want to get away from that numbering scheme
Mhm.
because we don't want people to have to feel like they have to play all the
Yeah.
other ones before they can even jump in, and that's why
Right.
it's called Monster Hunter World because the word world, they're like everyone gets to play together. It used to be everyone was region locked,
Yeah.
and so they were going, no, the world gets to play together, and it's got 5 letters. That's why that's literally it. Like, oh no, look, Monster Hunter 5. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's slick. Like, it's goofy, but it worked. Then Iceborne happened, and people found out about G rank.
the
And
hard way.
Ace, what did I tell him? From the get go.
You gonna
Said
learn
go-
today.
He said, go into Iceborne, ready to get smashed.
You're gonna get worked over. Every time somebody complained, I said, that's G rank. So like, this is hard. I'm like, that's G rank.
G-rank.
That's literally because they expect you to know what you're doing at this point. If you made it from low rank was your training wheels, high rank was the real deal. G rank is the big boys club, right? You put on your big boy pants and you about to catch an ass whooping like you never believed possible, but that's exactly what happens, right? So Iceborne did well, but I mean, in my opinion, just from everything I saw, it's divisive. It's deeply divisive. Like people love it, but the people who started with World, there were a lot of people that didn't finish because they could not handle the sharper difficulty increase. Uh, Everyone knows that Latrian was one of the most controversial fights that's ever existed in this franchise's history. Right? I lost friends over that shit. Dead serious. Ace, tell him.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, that fight, like that fight literally had social ramifications for a lot of friend circles, ours included.
Which
Yep.
one's Latrian?
The black dragon with the elements in Iceborne.
The black dragon with the
he doesn't know.
I don't. It's been a while.
Oh no, you don't forget Elatria. That's the thing where he elementally switches at key points and he can one shot you if you don't. He at lore wise, Elatrian is
Was this in-
elementally unstable.
Was this in the end? Like one of the last bosses?
He's near to the end of Iceborne. Yeah, pretty close to the end.
Huh.
But here's the thing with Elatrian. Elatrian was the final boss of Monster Hunter 3. Right? He was the big dog on campus, like not playing around, right? Like, oh. And so in Monster Hunter 3, he had different elemental weaknesses and elemental abilities based on whether he was flying or on the ground. They completely retooled him in Iceborne, right? And they made it more of a puzzle setup than anything else. And so, depending on which version you saw as a mission
Yeah.
on the quest screen, depended that influenced what element you needed to be using against him. So if the quest is called Blazing Black Twilight and you see all the fire around him, it means bring an ice weapon.
Yeah.
And then basically what you're doing is he is very slowly charging up to do a complete party wipe attack. You cannot flee the arena once you're in it unless you get carted out. Like it's a messy. Initially it was a very messy fight, and you have to keep slamming him with this element.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds like a raid boss, an actual raid boss.
They basically used raid mechanics.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool.
And you had to keep hitting him with this element until you got a message that said, hey, you shut down his element. Now you've just made that big super attack survivable.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was one of those things.
Cool.
And then it's like, but wait, there's more. So if he's on fire initially, then he goes, no, I'm going to change element. Boom. And suddenly he's all dragon damage. Right? And you can't do anything about that. And then he goes to do his big move, which is called Eschaton Judgment. He is invulnerable. All you can do is prep up and get ready for this attack. If you did not weaken that element in time,
You did.
you're dead. Right?
Long story
If
short, pick a god and pray.
right. You're going down. So you watch people cart out of that fight inside 4 or 5 minutes. But there was one other mechanic. His elemental nature was tied into his horns. So during some point during Dragon Phrase, you needed to snap off one of his horns. And this is where the tricks of the mechanics came into play. So once he finishes that Eschaton Judgment, right, and if his horns are intact, he will then change to a new element. So if he started off as fire, now he's ice. And remember, this is world where you carry one weapon. So now you're just hitting him with an ice weapon, which is not affecting that attack, which means you're not going to shut down his element, which means you're going to wipe. So you got to have a plan. But if you break his horn, it disrupts that cycle and he will stay in his element, right? So if he was on fire and he went into his dragon mode and you broke a horn, when he finishes Eschaton, he'll stay in fire and you can continue to beat him down, right? But it was a complex fight with multiple layers of things that you needed to understand that were not negotiable. And people got really mad that they had all these builds. Oh, I got this high DPS build. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to use element, blah, 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 blah. It was, no, the screaming was real on social media about this shit. It was a fucking horror show. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And just as an aside, the joke is this. Elatrian comes out and my wife is pregnant with my son, right? This whole fight, my crew that I was playing with, we worked at it for 14 hours until finally I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not having fun. I was like, people aren't listening. They're not doing stuff. They're not trying to win the fight. People go away. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go solo this motherfucker. And he is designed to be fought as a group. And I walked in there and I kept throwing myself at this wall, picking him apart piece by piece. And then eventually, literally 1 week before my son is born is when they released Fatalis, the last serious update that they did. And I went in there and I soloed him. And Fatalis has been around since the original Monster Hunter, and I never got to fight him.
I think Sonoris is asking if they want to link that video.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, I took beating his ass. I turned that into a science. No, like that's my guy. I should have a tattoo of Elatrian's corpse on my leg because no, I swear, look, on God, I went on a rampage. People were like, oh, and then once people started to come back and they, everybody, the cooler heads started to prevail and they just looked at, they're like, you're soloing this guy? I'm like, yes. I got so good at fighting Elatrian and getting the elemental shutdowns and controlling the breaks that even if we were duoing, I'm like, nope, I'm so efficient at getting that elemental damage in, I can carry all the weight for 2 people. I can do the elemental damage of 2 people by myself. So I'm like, no, we're going to get you through this fight. What's more important is that you stay alive. And more people started to notice my strategy of like, how is it that you're winning? I was like, man, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'm like, I'm not only am I going down into that fight because I can't retreat to get new things. I'm going down there stacked to the nines, defense up. Like, nope, you're not going to hit me with a single bad status. I'm not going to allow it. I've got all the drinks. I got drinks for my drinks. I got stuff to make more drinks. I was like, come on, motherfucker, we're going to fight. Like, I Rocky Balboa'd the shit out of him.
Like, how are you winning this thing? I'm not winning. I'm staying alive.
Right. And so it was a very important lesson for people to see that, right? And just taking them through that process. But Monster Hunter World is a huge, 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 huge game that had ramifications across the board. Some would say had negative ramifications on Monster Hunter Wilds, right? They made things even easier in that game, but that's a different topic for a different day. But it cannot be overstated that Monster Hunter finally did what it was trying to do, over 20 years ago, which is to get people out there, learn the monster, see what they're doing, see why they're doing it, right? You could almost argue that Monster Hunter and Dark Souls are distant cousins in the idea of, one, once you swing your weapon, you're kind of committed. That's the thing. Like, the weapon is swung, the movie is done. It's animation locked, right? But it's also about paying attention, right? I remember, again, way back, half my life ago, getting the shit kicked out of me by that Rathian for the very first time in Forest Hills, sitting on the PS2 in my aunt's basement using the world's slowest broadband connection you can think of, trying to play this game and realizing just the moment, the first tell I ever saw on a monster, I was like, that hoe just took a step backwards before she backflipped and kicked me in the face. Is that it? Is this the score? I'm like, just wait for the tells, right? And she just always, every time, and new people, I can't handle this. I'm like, no, you just look. They do specific things, and she'll just go, boop, step backwards, and then kick you square in your shit. Now I'm like, go ahead, take a step back so I can slice that tail off. Now I just do ignorant shit. Like, I'm like, hey, you guys want to see something cool with this hammer? Bonk. People- so that's why I'm the huntsman. I'm the huntsman from Monster Hunter World. I've been doing this forever. Like, nope, killing monsters is what I do. I'm like, and we're gonna do it again tomorrow. That's the score.
Well, you earned it. Sounds like you earned it.
Oh yeah.
I love Monster Hunter. When are you gonna play Monster Hunter Wild?
I got to reinstall it. I got frustrated.
Oh, with the performance?
No,
stuff?
it's just like I think I was an early player. I even with the beta, and I was like I played too much of it, and I was like, "There's nothing happening here," so I just stopped. And then I just kind of got distracted, and I didn't follow up with anything. So
I can't believe that Ace. We're gonna have to double team him. We gotta take him out.
yeah, I
Right?
heard Final Fantasy 14 stuff was happening, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll get back into it." And then stuff happened.
Oh, don't worry. We'll take you for an enthusiastic walk.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it'll be fucking funny. You're gonna have a good time. We're gonna introduce you to Omega Planetes.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Bring. Oh, and Oliver, here's
Come right here.
Oliver,
Right?
here's the thing. GQ
Mm-hmm.
is apparently a lance specialist.
Oh, that's
I like the counters.
because guess what? You need someone who plays Lance when you're fighting Omega. Like, no, it's practically required. I had to learn Lance. That was the last weapon I didn't know, and I learned Lance just to do that fight because I wanted to win more than I hated Lance.
I like that comparison.
That's how everything works with me. Like, when I sit down and I go and do a thing, I go, nope, I want to win more than I don't want or don't want to do this thing where am uncomfortable. I learned Longsword to kill a Latrian. I fucking hate Longsword. It was effective. I wanted to win more than I hated that weapon. Right? So now my goofy ass is on some Afro Samurai Bushido bullshit. I'm all chink. I'm like, why do I know this? I don't want to play this weapon. It doesn't matter. I play to win. And winning, getting there, playing with purpose,
That's perfect.
sometimes requires you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. It comes down to this: when the Latrian fight happened, and a lot of people tapped out. Like, if you go looking up, no, a lot of people quit Monster Hunter at that fight. And I said, well, the math is simple. I just want it more than you do. That's the difference. I wanted the win, so I was prepared to do what I needed to do to win, even if it was something unorthodox or unfamiliar or
That's
any
a
of that
winner
stuff.
mentality.
I came up with crazy strategies. My favorite thing, and then I will shut my ass up for a few minutes so you can. My favorite strategy was when I would go into that Elatrian fight. And I talked about breaking his horns. Well, he's only got 2. Eventually, you can't stop him from changing element. And then I'm like, he's gonna shift into a position where I can't elementally hurt him. I'm like, oh no, that's bad. Oh no, I'll cart. And I was frustrated. I was like, wait a minute. What if carting is part of your strategy? You can only go back up if you cart. I'm like, so what if I set it up to where I cart at a very specific time and I build my suit in such a way that it's practically the same except for the weapon and the necklace, right? So I could jump up in the camp, restock everything, go bloop, grab the opposite longsword, element longsword, put on a new necklace, and jump right back in there with him and continue the onslaught. Failing became a part of the strategy. I was like, no, it's not a failure if it's part of my plan. It's like, you fucking dummy, you just gave me an opportunity to hurt you some more. Taught so many people about sometimes a good offense is actually a strong defense. When people scream about, oh, my DPS, I'm like, your DPS is 0 if you're dead, you moron.
And it's for that reason that I always like, making vampire builds in Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I hit this thing, I keep my health topped up. If I can survive long enough, I can help others heal or just, keep zipping around like the annoying little fly that I am.
And my last tiny story, tiny, this short, to the very end of Monster Hunter, when I went in there and I soloed Fatalis, right? And I was like, and the reason I had to go do that was because I was like, man, I'm about to become a father. I'm 38 years old. I'm going to be a father. I need to go do something really, really, really hard to prove to myself that I'm worthy of this, right? And that's why I did not allow anyone to help me, right? A week later, he's born. But before he was born, I got to go and do those hunts with the Capcom team. So the current community manager for Capcom with Jono Vanguard, and back when he was UK community manager, Soxy Bear. No, we all went and fought Fatalis because I didn't really hunt with too many people outside of a group, so I had no concept of my skill. And the best part is the final kill I did on that guy. I was on there with a switch axe on his head, and the fucking elemental discharge blew his head clean off. It was while he was flying. It's glorious. It's one of the prettiest things you're ever going to see. Like, oh, okay, this black man done went crazy. I said, I'm a dad. I don't have the luxury of principles. No, we kill monsters and we go. We got shit to do. That was it. Like, that was a huge moment for me. It was a huge validator. So Monster Hunter World is always going to be a part of my life because it allowed me to share something that I love with people that are now friends and close ones to me, right? Monster Hunter does something special. It forms bonds, like an MMO used to, right? Like MMOs used to. Now everyone's just an asshole. But no, Monster Hunter, when you get a hunting crew and your shit works, they stay together. It's just the way it is. It's a beautiful game.
That's the reason why I can still get in hunts with Oliver. Yeah,
Yep.
hell, he started me on World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say
He said
the Monster Hunter effect is like you're only as strong as your weakest player, right, in your team. So that's you're responsible for everybody, each and every one of the team members. So I love it.
There's a reason the boys call me coach. Look, I ain't playing. Look, one of my boys. You want to blow this one up? You want to blow this one up? Got me a big ass Stein.
Oh,
with Ninja content on it that says Coach OPC because he's my most killed monster in World because everyone was scared of him. That was literally why I hunted him. I have like 400 or 500 kills, I think, on Nerdy Gigante alone. The just regular, not even counting Ruiner, which is like 200-300. No, I dropped so much time up in there, it's ridiculous. No, my friends call me Coach because I always got a tip. And if there's a hunt, there's a hard hunt, I'm going to show up and go, let's go kill demons. Like, I'm not playing. The second I show up, everybody breathes a little bit easier because they know I play for keeps. You know, that's just how it is. So yeah, you're gonna come play Wilds with me. You're gonna have a fucking ball. You're gonna have a blast. There you go. Now I'll be quiet.
That's a Monster Hunter ad if I ever heard of one.
I sell games, man. I sell the shit out of those games.
Well, that is one of the best Memory Card Chronicles we've ever had thus far. So that was awesome. So thank you for that. That was pretty good. That is what it's all about, right there.
I've got just that one little minor mention for today in history. A game called Pizza Tower. I've never played it, but I hear that people who love the Wario, like Wario's Woods, like are huge on this one. Like, or again, this is kind of vague. I've only caught some videos of it, but this is a huge, huge, huge game for people who love Wario, right? It's like super fast paced. It's frenetic as shit. It is goofy as hell, right? Like top tier goofy. And it's I don't know how to explain it. It's just it feels like an old Nickelodeon, possibly Liquid Television from MTV fever dream kind of a game. And this is the intro, like leading into it. It's like they don't lean too heavy into the story. You just kind of get in there and you get up to some top tier nuts. See, to be doing JoJo type shit. But no, it's a very, very popular and extremely, extremely well-reviewed game. Like I don't know. I don't know. But let me take a look.
Art direction.
It's goofy. Let's put it this way. Right now, I'm looking at it on Steam. Of English reviews, it has 44,092 overwhelmingly positive reviews.
Oh my god. Yeah, that is Wario. He has the Wario Dash.
It's that kind of goof. Like there's something going on over there with Pizza Tower. But I was like, no, if I don't mention that on behalf of somebody, they're gonna be angry at us. I'm like, I'm not trying to get in trouble.
Right. I already want to see the speed runs in this, how quickly they can do this.
Oh, I heard they're nonsense. Again, I watched it on YouTube. I'm like, I have no clue what the fuck is going on. I was like, I don't think I'm ADHD enough for this.
Oh, background, like, no. Though, that's so 90s. Am I watching a Trapper Keeper?
See, Andre is saying a lot of people considered this a Gotti when it dropped. Like, no, this was a huge game. Like, I only know about it because people kept talking about it like crazy on Twitter, right? I wasn't even like, it wasn't like I found about it through a website. No, everyone's like, no, Pizza Tower.
It's like
great.
Battletoads meets Wario with a dash of Ren and Stimpy.
Oh man,
it's top tier goofy.
I love it. Not actually the fact that you brought it. I want to check it out now afterwards. That's part of Memory Card Chronicles. I want to see the stuff that haven't heard about yet. So. All right. Well, Ace, are you ready to chat about your pick on the 27th here? Another world game with monsters.
Yes. Another world game with monsters, but not quite the ones folks might have been expecting. But, ooh, man, Digimon World, like this bad boy dropped in the middle of the first Pokemon craze, right?
Yeah.
And while the whole world was, just glued to their Game Boys, I stumbled across Digimon World, and I picked it up on a whim when I got it on the PlayStation, and I found out real quick. It's like my first thought was, this is like halfway between Pokemon and Tamagotchi. And I didn't know how close to being on the mark I was, because Digimon World, specifically the first game, actually put more of a focus on the breeding sim. And that really set it apart and made it a lot easier to, you know, really get into connecting with the monsters and their different evolutions outside of the anime. I mean, it like this game right here is basically what made me a Digimon fan.
Okay.
And
Is
just
oh yeah, never mind. I was thinking of Monster Rancher. I was like, does it still use the discs?
that's Monster Rancher, but yeah, I mean, like the just again, since this did focus more on the breeding aspects, you know, it had this really kind of chill vibe to it. So I would be spending a lot of time after school just sitting down, you know, slowly working my way through the story, but more than anything, just like, you know, working on training the different Digimon, managing feeding them, managing making sure they, you know, actually go do their business when they need to, so they're not dropping digi biscuits everywhere.
Nice.
But it was just a fun time, and because of that, when Digimon World 2 came out, I was like, "Oh, I'm all aboard. Let's go. Let's do this." And damn near every damn near every game since, and you know every every season since, I was on it. But it all started here.
This is a patient zero. Cool. All right. Well, here's another one here. That's man, this one's a good one. I want to hear this. I want to know.
Here we go.
And sometimes they're like, all I'm going to say is that this was the beginning of a series of mistakes that Capcom would, or excuse me, not Capcom, Konami would make. They said, I feel like mistakes started here and then they just haven't fucking stopped. Right? They were like, you know what? Let's fuck some shit up and let's do it for about 30 years or so. Now, historically, this is a game that got trapped in development hell in a pretty bad way. And there's actually 2 Castlevania games that came out on the 64. And it was Castlevania 64 and what was the follow up with Cornell? An expanded Legacy of Darkness.
Is it?
Yep, Legacy of Darkness would come out later on in the same year. So literally like 11 months later. So this was part of this incredibly rough time in video game history where, again, 3D is still really new and people are trying to figure out how can we take so many of our 2D franchises and move them into this 3-dimensional space and still have them work. You know, it's like thinking about Super Mario 64, just as an example. It's like, can you take a Mario game, put it in 3D and make it still Mario? And turns out the answer is yes. And to do the same thing here with Castlevania. And brother, they struggled. They struggled so hard to make this work, especially, remember, we've just come off a certified banger a few years ago called Symphony of the Night, right? where homie took that formula from Castlevania 2 and he said, what if it was good though? And we're like, yo, and and Metroidvanias were born, and then this shit happens. And we all turned and looked at Konami with fucking disgust. We said, get this filth out of our sight. No, it is one of the biggest missteps Konami has ever had. But they did learn a lot. They did learn their lesson, and they would follow up. And Ace knows what I'm about to say. They would try to do 3D again. Not like this, but cooler. And that starts off with Castlevania Lament of Innocence.
Oh, ironically, I just have the gameplay up. Well, that's weird.
Bam! Where they were like, let's take this whip and make that shit cool, right? And you're doing platforming with the whip. It's like, yes, like Super Castlevania 4.
Stark.
Right? The differences between the two are staggering, right? And this is supposed to be a complete reboot of the Castlevania franchise. This is the very first story. Well, it was an attempt anyway. There isn't yet Dracula, but you're playing as Leon Belmont. I think the year is like 1047. Like, I might be off on that, but I'm definitely like, I think it's 1000. Like, it's either 1047 or 1074. Like, what year is Castlevania Lament of Innocence? Google. Damn it! I was off by 20 years. 1094. Ah, see, I know my Castlevania. I don't play. I don't play. This is my jam, right? And Lament of Innocence tries to give a beginning to the Dracula and Belmont conflict, and then of course they follow up with something that is an absolute banger of a game. They haven't done better since, right? Like, no, as a fact, and that would be Castlevania Curse of Darkness, and
Sounds
you are
pretty good, too.
not playing as a Belmont, but it takes place just after the events of Castlevania 3. And you are playing as, who is it, Ace?
Hector.
Hector, right? The one man in Castlevania with a Mexican name. That's okay. We're like, you know what? That's fine. But it's all about Hector and Isaac. And where do all the monsters in Castlevania come from? Well, it turns out from Devil Forge Masters. So you see, my man Dracula is smart enough to not micromanage and delegate his shit. So no, it's two humans that make all the monsters that you actually see throughout Castlevania. And Hector's basically had a change of heart in this story. And he is done taking part in this shit. Isaac's like, oh no, you're not done. You're done when we say you're done. And so Hector has to go back through and redo everything that as a Devil Forge master, and finding these innocent devils, and you raise these motherfuckers like Pokemon. But this is all built off of what they did with Lament of Innocence. They brought back the more Metroidvania like exploration elements. There's more RPG in it. Like, they actually started making it work. And then they got smart and realized, you know what, let's just leave this 3D shit alone. And Soma Cruz. We're like, we love that guy. But no, the Castlevania and Legacy of Darkness are two monster-sized, not a joke, blemishes on Castlevania history, because it was clearly an example of a team that did not know what they were doing with technology that they had. And it's a great lesson in what not to do.
Bingo.
Man, I feel like I'm basically just picking up everything that Nick would have dropped. Right? Like, I'm like, no, I'm doing double duty this week. I got to carry it for him.
All right, this one I've seen a lot of people play, but I have not played it myself. But I've been looking at playing it when the mood strikes. This is on the same day.
The same fucking day. Ace, what is the phrase most associated with me and Dying Light?
Ahem. Two-legged thunder.
Here's the scoop. Raw facts. Here's how it is. Dying Light, first-person game. It's one of the games I love the most, because one of my biggest criticisms of a first-person game is if I can look down and see my body. And if you're like, what? Yes, if I can look down and see my body, my physical body, and see my legs, I know that you're not half-assing it, right? Because where my body is in real life, in space, is important. I need to know if I'm rubbing shoulders up against something that's going to bite me. I need that same shit. Dying Light does it perfect. When Dying Light dropped, most journalists were trying to ignore it, and they didn't care, right? Because this is a follow-up by Techland, and it's not a sequel to Dead Island, but it was the thing that they worked on next. So this was one of those games that was just going under the radar. This game is also responsible for the biggest stream I ever had, all because I took a chance on it. On launch day, I had like 500 people watching. They were like, yo, what the hell? This is amazing. This is a crazy game. It is. It's an absolute crazy game. They took the formula of Dead Island, made it faster, gave you the free running. The actual dying light part of the game is what makes it unique. Because yeah, you can do all your free running during the day and all this stuff, and you're jumping off shit like you're seeing there. But once it gets dark out there, boy, woo, there ain't no light, and there's big, bad, burly, awful things trying to get you. The the chase, the chase of getting chased by a volatile is one of the scariest things that's ever going to happen in a game. I don't think any game, any horror game has topped it. I don't care. I don't Silent Hill, Resident Evil, no. Being pursued by a volatile when you are empowered, you're like, no, I can do crazy free run. I can be jumping and tick tacking off of walls, and they will stick right on your ass the whole time. It is one of the most terrifying things in game history, and they executed it basically perfectly. This game has caught so much DLC and so much support. They put in like over 10 years of support on the game. There are so many versions of it out with monster-sized DLC packs. This game is so big. Let me really make it clear. The game is so big that they had a game they were working on that was supposed to be called Hellraid, a multiplayer game, but they canceled it. But they were like, we still want to do Hellraid. So they built Hellraid inside of Dying Light as an arcade game, and it's a full-fledged thing. Like there's a whole game inside Dying Light for you to play. You know, like when in Animal Crossing you could get the Nintendos and you could get Super Mario Brothers. You're like, oh look, I'm playing Super Mario Brothers in Animal Crossing. This has an entire fucking game built inside of it as a DLC that has rewards that then come out of the DLC into your normal game. It's nuts. It's Dying Light is literally easily, if I had to do a top 50 games of all time, it's in the top 10 because it is staggering. The moment Two-Legged Thunder, when everyone collectively lost it,
Here we go.
I was like, okay, so what are these moves? You know, I've got these different skill trees. I can do free running. I can, you know, I've got a combat tree and I've got just a general overall experience tree. I'm like, okay, there's a drop kick and all that. I was like, man, if I can kick a zombie down the street, this is fucking game of the year, right? And I got this move, and I came up, and both them feet came out, and I kicked this motherfucker down the block. I dropped the controller and stream. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever fucking played. I lost my mind. People flipped out. I was like, I don't care. This is it. It's the chosen one. Oh, man, I kicked the shit out of that zombie, man. I kicked him so hard. I think I brought him back to life.
It was. If people want to know why Team Rocket was blasting off again, it's because of them 2 feet that was attached to Oliver.
So that was my whole thing. And then I started running around. I was like, oh, wait, I got some confidence. I'm going. I'm running across the rooftop. Oh, there's a zombie. Bam! Two-Legged Thunder. Just kicking him right off the roof and watching him fall. Head splattering. I'm like, yeah, that's what you get. You should have been standing by the rail. No, I act wild. I still play Dying Light to this day. I'll start a brand new game and go through it. One of the best expansions for a video game of all time is attached to Dying Light. And now it's sold all together as one. Dying Light, The Following. It's a whole side campaign. You can do it before you finish the game, right? They're like, yeah, we added in a dune buggy. You're like, aren't you going to destroy your free running thing? No. This DLC is the size of an entire fucking game. It's huge. It's massive. It's gigantic. You do need the car to get around because you're going to be gone for a while. It is like, I've repeatedly said to Ace over years, like, people go, what's the best expansion of all time for any game? I go, Sims 2 University. It's like, what? Yes, Sims 2 University, best expansion of all time for one reason, because it doesn't take away from the core game, right? It doesn't, you know, every time like WoW or some shit would come out, they put out a new expansion and now you've negated everything that came before it. And so it's like, well, now you've just taken away people's hard work and time and all that. But you play Sims 2 University, and it just adds another age range into the mix and just expands upon the life experience. I'm like, that's brilliant, right? It's truly additive. It doesn't take anything away from the core. If you don't pick it up, you're not losing anything. And that's how the following is for Dying Light, where if you don't play it, you didn't lose anything. But if you get it, it adds so much more to the experience. And you're like, oh, this is just a whole different level of fun. They just kept adding fun to it. I cannot recommend the game enough. When I say they gave this game so much support, it is unheard of. It's like on par with No Man's Sky. Like, y'all, stop giving us free shit. Can I just fucking pay you? Even after it came out, it was originally a 30 FPS game at 1080p. And then just like within a year or two ago, they're like, yeah, this isn't good enough. Let's kick this up to 4K 60. Oh, by the way, we went back and we remastered all the textures in the game, and we completely remastered the soundtrack too, because we knew we could do it and we wanted to. So like, here you go. Happy anniversary, everybody. Enjoy. We're like, are you fucking serious right now? The amount of post-release support for a title, this is the bar. This is the bar. You gotta meet it here, right? You can't Ubisoft this shit, right? You can't we can't have you out here doing BioWare shutting shit down like Anthem shit. No, you gotta do this. Dying Light is the fucking king. That's what matters.
And it all started with drop kicking a
lovely.
zombie down the street.
Well,
I kicked a man down the street and made lifelong friends.
how many games lets you drop kick a zombie? I mean, that's not many.
The real
Woo.
one piece of
Breaking the
zombies
ice,
we
running
drop
up,
kicked
snapping
along
them
the way.
Acting a fool. Oh man, it's wonderful. And then of course, just a couple of years ago, like I said, this is super short because I haven't played it. Kind of. Dead Space caught its remake this day back in 23, so 3 years ago. I tried to play Dead Space when it came out, and I noped the fuck out 20 minutes in because that shit's too
It's-
scary.
Look at
No.
the screenshot, guys.
I-
This is crazy looking. This is
I don't play with demons.
like the detail, the atmosphere. They got it. This is a remake. This is clean.
You know, and I've never heard anyone complain
Yeah.
about it. All I heard was nothing but positive stuff about the remake. The people that caught the remake loved the
Yeah.
remake. I will give full credit to Dead Space, even in its original capacity, for the innovative thought of trying to remove as much external UI elements as possible, right? To be able to just look at Isaac's suit and see what his health is. Brilliant. All your menus, no, that's what Isaac actually sees, right? That level of immersion, that's brilliant
Yeah.
shit. Like, I'm still not playing this scary shit, but I'm not doing it, but I appreciate the work. I'm like, there's just a certain level of scary. I can only so much I can tolerate. I'm old. Okay. My poor heart can't handle that kind of shit, right? Cut off their limbs. Like, no, you know what? I'm gonna fuck cutting off the limbs. I'm just gonna jettison myself out into space. And I'm gonna let the devil sort out whatever the devil does over there. He can have his own
Like,
fucking party.
I'm gonna go play Katamari and feel the cosmos.
That's right. I'm gonna feel good and get yelled at by my dad.
I want more space, less dead.
Right.
Right. I'm just not trying to die like that.
All right, change the pace. Oh man, this is artwork right here, guys. So this is the
Uh-oh.
next day here on the 28th, January 28th. The Ninja Warriors came out from Taito. This is specifically the ZX Spectrum box art. But my memory card chronicle of this is actually from the
Ninja
Super Nintendo and the arcade. So as I pull up the Super Nintendo gameplay, I'll show you that this is like one of the first 2 monitor arcade games out in the industry at that time. This thing was massive at the moment. So, and it's a beat 'em up, and it's a good one. Not too many titles from Taito these days.
Not
Yeah.
too many.
Now that's my question: do those guys still exist?
I think so because they
Like-
release compilations on Amazon. I see like they have a Taito collection in there somewhere. So show you guys the arcade machine if I have a good photo of it. But this thing was massive. This thing stood out at the arcades because
course-
it was. Yeah, go ahead.
And of course, this got a re-release, or I think just a full-on remaster on modern consoles recently.
It did, yeah. It got it. I think it took the Super Nintendo and like the version and made it like super clean. I found a picture of it, but let me get a big one here.
And the soundtrack. Ugh. It's like I still listen to the soundtrack to this on a regular basis.
Ninja Warriors, yeah. All right, I think
I feel like I only played this just a little bit when I was younger, but like not much of it. Like caught a rental with the brother, you know.
so. This is the arcade machine. Back in the day, 2 monitors slapped together. You can see kind of like concaves inside there, right in the middle, because it's 2 CRTs slammed together to make a super wide screen arcade game.
Looks
It was
like-
only two. It was only 2 players, I think. So, which is kind of crazy.
Well, it looks like
Isn't that how they made X-Men and the
Correct,
Simpsons work
Correct.
as
Yeah,
well?
X-Men for sure. It went on the 6-player version. They definitely had that. And definitely on the 4-player version as well. Luckily, there's an arcade like in Portland, I think. So it's not that only a couple hours away. Actually has one of the rare 6-player Konami X-Men arcade machines. Also,
yeah, ground control.
Ground Control. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So I always go there just to touch it and be like, oh, this is awesome. You know, like it was great. 6 players.
Feeling the hit.
He said, "I'm going there to touch it." Like, oh,
It's a relic. You know what I'm saying?
this is nice.
It belongs in a museum.
No, the museum's my house. That's what I want.
We are going to die.
Yeah, solid one. It had like this also had like input commands too. So and 3, I think it started with 3 different characters. One was like the main one, the brute force guy, and then the super agile.
Yep.
So, yeah, super good one. Check that out when you guys get a chance. You know, the arcade version or the Super Nintendo version, I always recommend it. All right, so another game here on the 28th. Oh, this is special. All right, I've seen this man play this game on his stream. I think it's this game, but tell us more about the Skies of Arcadia.
Mhm. So yes, like look, if you have known me for any length of time and you ask me what one of my favorite RPGs is, I'm gonna point to this one right here. But the reason I wanted to actually call out the Legends release was, because of the simple fact that, it's, not only was it a re-release on a system beyond the Dreamcast, but what this also did was clean up a lot of the visuals and add a new playable character for your team, as well as a new quest line involving a brand new group of antagonists that were basically like copycat versions of your squad of sky pirates that were going around actively trying to undermine your reputation. And building your reputation is one of the key components to playing through this game, because as you build your reputation through your actions in battle or the different discoveries you make, more people start opening up to you, giving you more information, and certain crew members only join you once your reputation is high enough. So if you're in the middle of trying to get someone like, say, Lawrence, your alternate helmsman, and your reputation ain't high enough, and then you've got those copycats running around pretty much causing your shit to start dropping, that's a whole new layer of stress. But I mean, it's just Skies of Arcadia has always been, one of the more endearing JRPGs that I could possibly recommend to anyone. I mean, around this era, it's Grandia, Skies of Arcadia, and Rogue Galaxy. If you're looking for just, tried and true,
Galaxy is good.
Yep, if you're looking for just tried and true high adventure, and something that's generally uncomplicated. If you just want a good story with fun characters, you know, bright visuals, then you're definitely going to want to check this out. And it could be said that Skies of Arcadia Legends is pretty much the definitive version of the game. Problem is, we haven't seen it since the GameCube.
remake.
Come on, Sega. Skies of Arcadia, Guardian Heroes, you got money sitting on the table.
Yeah, man, yeah. My brother is the same way. He loves Skies of Arcadia. I never got around to playing it in full, so clearly I'm missing something. I'm missing something because people who like Skies of Arcadia, they fucking love Skies of Arcadia. That's just no. There's no in between. Like, you live here now. it's that kind of thing. Like, oh, okay. I just wasn't in the know.
That's another Sega title tonight, right? So, man,
There you go.
I know I got that sound for a reason. What else do I got here? Sega! There you go. That's a good one.
There you go.
Shout out Sega. Man, Oliver just throwing down all the controversial titles tonight.
Yeah.
This next one here is very controversial. Andre, hope you're still in chat. It's about to go down.
Here we go.
Now, I'll tell you right now, and I'll keep it short and stick to the facts. Right? This is the second most controversial Devil May Cry game. The first most controversial one is DMC, right? That was done by Ninja Theory. That's just the fact, right? This was prior to that one coming out. This is the one that was most controversial for people because it kind of gets away from the stuff going on with Mundus and the Underworld and all that. It's quite a bit of a departure for people. However, it obviously started to lock in a really nice iconic look for Dante. I do actually have an interesting side story to go along with this that concerns another franchise. See, this is why I'm the historian, because I know all this shit. So I'm one of the people that's like, no, I love Devil May Cry 2. And people are like, how could you? I'm like, because many of the mechanics that you love about Devil May Cry debuted in this game. So it's in this game that Dante can, run along the side of a wall in the first place. This is the game that debuted the idea of twosome time to be able to fire in two separate directions at once, right? This is the first game where Bloody Palace even showed up, right? And of course, Dante and his now very much so streamlined look. Now, your history lesson for Devil May Cry 2 ties into Shin Megami Tensei. So this version, that in fact what you're showing right now is exactly what they use in Shin Megami Tensei 3. So Capcom and Atlus basically did an art trade where they were like, it would be super cool if in the Maniacs, the expanded version of Shin Megami Tensei 3, what we know as Nocturne, but for Japan, it's called Shin Megami Tensei 3 Maniacs Edition, in which you are pursued by Dante. Since you're a demon, he's like, oh, I guess there's just fucking demons everywhere. Well, click, clack, let's get to work. But he's after you in particular. So what ended up happening was Atlus was like, we really, really want Dante in this game. What can we do? And they were like, well, tell you what. Capcom said, we want your guy that does the demon designs for the series design Dante's, we'll call it his infant Devil Trigger look for Devil May Cry 3. That's how it works. So the version of Devil Trigger mode that you see in Devil May Cry 3 was actually designed by the lead artist over at Atlus in exchange, and Capcom said you can use you can use Dante in here. Now, the crazy thing is when they did the HD remaster, we didn't think, because of licensing and yada yada yada, we didn't think that we were going to get Dante back in there. And in previous re-releases that have happened with Nocturne years ago in Japan only, they got smart and they replaced Dante without breaking the game with their own demon hunting detective, Raido Kuzunoa, right? So he just slips right into place. He effectively has all his attacks, everything he does the same thing. It's just their own in-house character. So when the HD remaster came, we were like, oh, well, we're going to be stuck with the Raido version. And Capcom was like, no, you guys can totally do that again. But now it's going to be DLC. And you can just upgrade to having Dante in there and doing all his goofy shit with voiceovers and all that for $2. Hey, a $2 DLC to get, sure, why not? It wasn't $15. No, you're like, here, pay a couple bucks, and now it's more like you remember, right? But that's basically how it worked. But things like you're seeing right there, just some of the air hike moves, all that stuff, it all debuted right here. This is also the first time in, again, the series history that Trish is playable, and she uses Sparta, not Dante. She uses that big ass sword to go through the Bloody Palace, and she's playable through the campaign. But you got to do work. One of the things that I really like about Devil May Cry 2 is that you get to play as two different characters on two separate discs. There's two separate campaigns, right? So you play as Dante and you play as Lucia, who has her own kind of own devil form, and they do their own unique things. If I recall, I think, is it what's the homie's name that's no longer at Platinum? Kamiya.
Kamiya, yeah.
If I remember correctly, I'm not 100% on this. I think the poor reception to this is what made him come back and work on Devil May Cry 3. Because he's like, you guys really fucked this up. Right? Not unlike, whatchamacallit, not unlike Metal Gear, right? When they had Snake's Revenge. And nobody told Kojima, and someone was asking him about it. Like, I think he said he was like on the bus or something. They're like, hey man, so what's up with that? What's up with that Snake's Revenge? He's like, what the fuck is a Snake's Revenge? He found out later, and he's like, y'all just went in there and just fucked this right up, huh? He's like, get out of my way. And that's how Solid Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake got made. Because he's like, if you're gonna do something, do it right. Like, he's like, stop playing with me.
Understand the assignment. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's basically it. So I always defend Devil May Cry 2 because I love Dante's look.
Yep.
I like his mood. I like his attitude. I like the style. I like the innovation that came along because, like it or not, some of your favorite parts of Devil May Cry come from here. And I just want people to give it its due for, oh, okay, yeah, it is actually kind of tight to just run and leap off of a wall, to jump upside down, flip upside down, and just fire on the way down, right? Suspending yourself. Like, no, that's crazy, right? To go, oh, okay, I'm going to go boom and shoot that guy in front of me and the guy behind me, right? No, it's all the cool stuff, the things that make Dante doubly cool, right? He was already cool in the first game. We know he's cool. He's a bad motherfucker. Come on. You saw what he did with that shotgun. Click, clack, right? But the cool, you're just like, oh, you just a slick Rick son of a bitch. No, it came from Devil May Cry 2. And I want people to recognize and respect that. And that's all I got to say about that.
Nah. Yeah, he did look the coolest there. He had a really cool move set too. Like they animated him really well. Like his hair was like flowing in a PS2 game. It's crazy. Yeah. Right? There's a little bit to praise on that.
Mm-hmm.
The next one though is kind of rough. I don't know if anybody has praise for this game, but let's talk about it. Warcraft 3 Reforged.
It's tough because Nick should have been here to cover this one. So I can only really talk about it within the context of my own knowledge, right? And it's not a lot. But the biggest thing is, Warcraft 3, when it originally came out, was fucking huge. I mean, we're not even talking about Warcraft 3, just Warcraft 1, 2, and 3. Warcraft is a big deal. There's a whole world of it, for crying out loud, people. There's a whole world of Warcraft for you. It was a big deal. But when they did this remake, right, Reforged, it's kind of like basically Blizzard fell into their EA era and kind of started just fucking things up in a big way, right? And it basically turned into a case of when they released this Reforged version, they did a bunch of balance, changes and just changed a bunch of stuff about how the game played. And if you owned, on your Battle.net account, you had the original Warcraft 3, no, you got forcefully upgraded to the Reforged version.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people did not like that shit. Blizzard screwed up so badly that it eventually got to the point where they offered refunds on it, regardless of the amount of time that you played.
Everyone disliked that.
Everyone disliked that.
It continued.
And even if you go Googling now, there's all kinds of weird hacks and shit to get you back to the classic version of it, right? Like, and there's weird stuff with the CD keys. Like, it's a nightmare. Basically, like, I'm looking at an overview right now. It forces Warcraft 3 Reforged forces all players onto the new client, effectively disabling the 2002 to the 2003 version of the game. The original Reign of Chaos and Frozen Throne are no longer officially supported, cannot connect to modern Battle.net, and have been replaced by the Reforged update.
Oh yeah, they wanted to erase it for sure.
Yeah, like they wiped that shit from Earth. Like
Jesus.
it's nuts. The Blizzard forums state that installing the game via Battle.net automatically updates it to the Reforged engine. You can set the graphics to classic in the Reforged settings, but this is still that new client, not the original one,
Yeah.
which causes issues with older custom maps and features. To play the original, you got to use unofficial methods such as finding old CD installers, not updating the game, playing in LAN offline. Since the 2.0 update, some users with original CD keys have reported issues regarding licensing. It's a mess, right? Requiring them to use the Battle.net app in offline mode. As of November, old CD keys no longer grant access to the Reforged client, but can still be used for legacy versions if you have the original installer. In short, it's a hot ass mess, right? And is another one of those, hey, here's how you don't do something. Like, in fact, aren't we in the middle of experiencing that shit right now with Yakuza?
Yep.
Oh,
Because with the Yakuza, Yakuza Kiwami 3, they're basically going back and just pretty much trying to wipe out 3, like trying to wipe out the original.
and then upgrade it to the new one. Oh, dang! I wonder if is there like an actor that they can't feature anymore?
That's what they did. They delisted Yakuza 0 and 3.
Okay, and because that's the only thing I'm thinking if one of the reasons they did that, they don't want the actor to be the game anymore or something like that, so they had to.
Well, which Yakuza was it where like a guy got arrested for like cocaine or something like that, and they literally deleted that man from the game?
Yeah, yeah, I heard about that. I wasn't sure which game that one was.
Yeah, they could.
That was Judgment.
I wish I could remember.
Judgment?
Wait, was it Judgment?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they stripped that man from existence.
Yeah.
He caught a cocaine charge or something like that, and they stopped everything. They completely removed him from the game. They didn't use the same model, nothing. They recast his ass completely. I've never seen nobody get thrown to the fucking Phantom Zone like that before, man. Last time somebody got Phantom Zone like that, it was literally criminals. It was fucking Terrence Stamp. It was Kryptonians got Phantom Zone. I'm like, whoa, this guy stopped existing like immediately. Sega did not play with that. No, they got very serious. No. So, I just like to take the time to point out for people, Memory Card Chronicles has gone long this week. And this is because we're now starting to get to that point. If you'll notice, like here in January, and also the dates, right? We're getting to this period where more and more developers are starting to release big games and big moments now, right? Whereas they didn't do that in the early 2000s and in the 90s. This just wasn't the period for a new game release. So most of the time it was kind of sparse and things like that. So just as you've noticed over the course of this entire episode, it's like, oh, that's a big title. Oh, that's a big title. Oh, that, yeah, a lot of big stuff happens. So just to give you an idea of where we're at and what's going on with that.
Well, I got the picture.
Yep.
That's right.
Everybody. All right. This next one on the 29th, we're almost there, folks, is a game that I actually unofficially voice acted on stream. It doesn't have voice acting, but I did recruit a few friends to play with me to just voice act the characters, and we just played it like that. It's actually just a coffee shop simulator, right? I'll throw the gameplay on the screen here, but the memory card, my memory card chronicle is basically, hey, you want to come on stream with me and voice act the characters as we read the game, right? And yeah, it was this. I think this was before COVID, but we just basically played this game, and there's sections where like people come in the shop and they talk, and we basically had roles, right? And we just played this game with voice acting. So it was like a weird other way to play a game, right? And it made it a whole different experience and definitely much more fun to voice act it with your friends. So
That's neat.
give it a shot. I'm not saying with Coffee Talk, but with just in general with games like that don't have voice acting. I don't know. I was just trying to be different, but maybe the word Coffee Talk made me want to like voice act.
Well, I mean, I would have tried doing that with Final Fantasy VII and with 8, but then I decided to go looking for mods for him, and guess what?
They got him. They did the work for you, you know? So, hey, guess what? Maybe you can play Chrono Trigger and have it voice acted or something, right? You never know. It's up to you. This was just kind of like, randomly, I wanted to just play like a chill game. Didn't know what it was about. I think it's an alternate future in Seattle, apparently, and elves and humans and other creatures have now melded together.
It's Shadowrun Decaf.
Oh my God, you're right. I hate this. All right, we're moving on to the next.
Oh my God, I hate this. Oh no.
I don't like that. Wait, you're absolutely correct.
Had to stick him right in the ribs with that one.
You're true. Oh man, I hate how you're not wrong.
I'm out of line, but I'm right.
Yeah, he's out of line, but he's not wrong. This game here, we're moving on. This game here deserves a remake or deserves a sequel. I did not play this game. I watched people play this game. I demoed this at the store to test consoles, and man, this is cool. This is very unique. Not a lot of space pirate RPGs out there, in my opinion. Level 5 is holds a special place in my heart for Rogue Galaxy and the other stuff that they make, like Professor on 3DS.
Yeah, Professor Layton.
Professor Layton, that's right. Ace, tell us about Rogue Galaxy.
Now, remember earlier when I mentioned, my top 3 favorite RPGs that are not Squaresoft or Square Enix? If you're looking for just a good old-fashioned adventure, I said one was Skies of Arcadia. I said the other was Grandia. This right here is number 3. Rogue Galaxy, just the fact that you're dealing with, around the same era as Skies of Arcadia. So, it's kind of that, high adventure with, a specific type of pirate or pirate crew. But this also pretty much came out and was although it was flying very, very much under the radar, it was still it still had that kind of vibe that you would get, that you damn near got from Final Fantasy 12, with a lot of the, epic storytelling. But this one wasn't so much a slow burn, which is why I was able to get into this as opposed to Final Fantasy 12. But I mean, if you're looking for just something like Rogue Galaxy is anime Star Wars.
Anime. Wait, hold on. Pause. Okay, you're right. Hold on, I was gonna debate and say no, Final Fantasy 12 is anime Star Wars, but it's not anime. You're right.
Nah,
You're right.
Rogue Galaxy is straight up anime Star Wars. We're talking, you know, your main kid might as well be Luke. All right. But like aside from
Cool sword.
aside from the character designs and a lot of the excellent use of color and color palettes, not just with the setting, but also with the characters as well. You've got you've got competent, if not excellent, voice acting. I mean, again, going back to your main character, Jaster, he is voiced by Will Friedle. Y'all might remember him as Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond. So you got, look, if you got a game with Will Friedle and Steve Blum in it, you're in good hands. Like you're at the very least, your ears aren't going to bleed. It's going to sound rather nice when people actually start bumping their gums. But the big thing about Rogue Galaxy, aside from being able to actually go in between planets, once you actually start getting into the main portion of the game, character progression is literally it's a license board, kind of like Final Fantasy 12. The Revelation system here. They're just going over a little bit of it. Filling each of the pieces on that board, you literally use different items that you find across your adventure. You could even use potions to learn certain skills, like just your regular, I drink this to heal HP. Oh, wait, I could also use this to help me learn this little skill over here. It's a nice change of pace as far as character progression itself, but there is a mini game in Rogue Galaxy. There is a mini game that also helps as far as helping you get some of the late game gear. That is stupid addictive. It's called the Starship Factory.
I thought you were gonna call it Triple Triad.
Oh no! No! Look, you're playing Satisfactory. You're playing fucking Factorio in the middle of this.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
It's another game where they put a whole ass game in the game, and now you're addicted to the game inside the game. You forgot that you were playing a game in the first place, and you had shit to do. That keeps happening to me in games. I think I actually love that genre, where it's like, oh yeah, what wasn't I doing other shit? You're like, no, this is all just ultimately for buffs for what you were for the game.
Last time I played through this, we got a comment in the chat saying that they rented the game and beat it within 5 days. I spent that 5 days in the factory. I clocked in, swear to God.
Cractorio.
There was literally 1 week where I was playing this on the PS2. I got up at 6 a.m. I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner in my room. Did not clock out of the factory until 10 that evening. It was absurd. But
he clocked in and stayed
exactly.
in. That's the score. That's what's up.
Skipped all his breaks. And lunch.
So, yeah, outside of that heavily addictive Starship Factory mode, just a simple, clean, uncomplicated story. This is a game that takes a lot of what you know as far as RPG tropes and executes on it staggeringly effectively. And it's honestly not a very long game at all.
Yeah, 30 hours. Okay. Well, here's another one from Ace on our last day here, where I was not intelligent enough to play when I was a kid. So I'm glad somebody in this panel it was.
On the 30th?
Yeah. No, on the 31st, sorry.
31st.
Yeah. Intelligent Cube. Tell us something about this game.
Now, I first started playing this one. This one was actually on a demo disc with. Yeah, it was on a demo disc with the original Armored Core.
Sure, it fucking was.
Cool.
Everybody knows about that.
I think that's where
I got my demo version through. I think it was EGM, or whatnot. Yeah, man. Let me tell you, demo disc were one of the greatest things that ever happened.
That was the
It's
only
true.
way
Happened.
we got to play games for free.
It's the only
Our
way your
track-
ass was playing Bushido Blade.
Yep.
That's what was up.
But like Intelligent Cube was such a wild and unique concept for a puzzle game because it when I first saw this, it felt very much like a cracked out aggressive Tetris. That was literally my first impression of it. But then as I sat down and really started playing it, started getting the hang of actually really focusing on the movement of the blocks as they just kept rolling forward, and then the different blocks that you could get to interact with, like the black ones where you can't do anything with them but just let them roll off the edge or else they will roll over you. And yeah, you only have of course, there's only a certain number of times you can get rolled over by one of those blocks before it's game over. But that's, that again is part of the puzzle itself. Managing your attempts, managing your health, managing, the movement of the blocks and the placement of the different charges on the ground that you can use to clear the field. And once you're able to clear everything, then you can just fast forward it and have the last remaining blocks roll off. And if you get a perfect, then it adds further to your to the platform that you're standing on. But the concept itself was just it was innovative. It was emblematic of the experimentation that was prevalent at the time of early PlayStation era development.
Have you guys ever heard of a game called Class?
Yes, because it had that weird looking K hand shape for the logo.
Check this out, Ace. If you've never heard of this,
It's weird.
Look what's about to happen on the top of that screen.
Oh no!
Before Intelligent Cube, there was
Oh
Class. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I just wanted to share that because when I saw that on the
That's
screen,
evil.
I was like, "Oh man, this game reminds me of Class." So,
That is so wild. Yeah, it's literally like a 4D Tetris.
that's too smart for me. Too smart for me. All right, Oliver, you got something to say over here. Which one do you want to cover first?
Most of these they're just mentions to me, simply because again, they're big releases, but I feel like they're so recent in history that I don't really need to get too deep into them. But Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii drops in 2008 in Japan. Right, and all that stuff about tripping and all that other stuff. Remember hearing about that old fucking controversy? Yeah, that was a whole thing. DMC 4, Devil May Cry 4 drops in Japan again, same day. So it's like, wait, hold up. On the same day, Smash Brothers and Devil May Cry release. Yes,
It's a good day.
it's kind of fun. Two day, and Final Fantasy 12 or 13-2. Boo, comes out in the US on 2012. Now, there's one game on here that I haven't actually put down in the list, but to me, it's a huge game. It always sticks out in my mind. I talk about it as often as anyone will tolerate, which is not very often. But on this day in what year is it? Let's see. Okay, no, 2012. Never Dead.
Oh my god! Another person that knows about Never Dead. I thought I was the only one.
Wait, you like Never Dead? We could have been fucking hanging out years ago.
One of the weirdest games Konami's ever made.
Konami on their weird bullshit. It's been a weird Konami night. So I'll give people the basic ass rundown score on what Never Dead is. You are Bryce Boltzmann. You are a devil hunter, not unlike Dante, except you suck. He's kind of shit at his job, but it's kind of a cool little fucking thing where it's about you, a devil hunter, and you work in tandem with a psychic, right? And you're only able to really deal with demons because of this psychic who can actually banish them back to hell and can actually allow you to cause harm or to cause harm to them, right? In the very beginning, the game's prologue, it's, oh, here's Bryce and he's all cool and all that. Well, it turns out his psychic partner is his wife, right? And they go to kill the devil, like Mundus style. They're going to go kill the devil, and she gets killed during it. And right here, this is actually part of the intro of the game. They're like, they kind of just drop you in media res, right? But instead of killing Bryce, the devil's like, since you had the audacity to come here and start all this shit, he takes his finger and just goes and jams him right in his damn eyeball. He plucks out his eye and he puts in a demonic eye. And he's like, guess what, motherfucker? Now you can't die. I'd rather just watch you suffer and live. So we cut to later on. And Bryce has been alive for a very long time. And he just fucking hates existence. But, and this is what makes the game so interesting mechanically, like, it's totally unique. You're not going to play anything like it. You really cannot be killed in Never Dead. You get your head cut off. You be losing limbs, chopping off legs. You'll be a fucking torso flopping the fuck around.
That's just rude.
but you still have control of your limbs, even when you get blown the fuck up. So if you had a gun in your hand, you could still fire it. And you'll be watching your gun go off on the other side of the room, right? And you got to roll your head around. Like, really, your main character is your head. Sometimes you have to take off your head, right? You got to like go, nope, bloop, pull your head off and throw it in a vent to go around and unlock a door and shit like that. Meanwhile, your body's just hanging out.
Oh my god.
You just doing shit. It's a wild fucking game. But it's like, wait a minute, if you can't die, what's the hook? Well, that's the thing. He can't die. It doesn't mean you can't game over. And there's only pretty much 2 game over conditions in Never Dead. I cannot remember what those little motherfuckers are called. But it's actually kind of scary. Like, basically, anytime you get into a combat scenario, there's these, like, they're almost like these little purple gremlins that are just mouths, right? And if you're decapitated, the only thing that they want to do is they open up a void like a vacuum, and they're trying to pull your head into it, right? All they do is walk around and
Oh, they're
eat
fucking
things.
Langoliers.
And yes, they're Langoliers with legs. Yes, that's what they are. And you have like one chance to get them to gag and spit you back out. If you fail it, boom, they're like, nope, you're now going to be, your head is just going to be digested for eternity in this thing's stomach.
Ugh.
The only other way to die, to lose, to game over in Never Dead, is to have a fucking building fall on you.
What?
That's the only other way I found to get a game over screen. Like, I can't remember the moment, but there's a moment where there's a fucking skyscraper falling, and if you don't move, yeah, they will game over your ass. But other than that, nope. Bryce gets blown the fuck apart. It's like, oh, okay, well, you're gonna have to roll your head back over to your torso. And you can attach your body parts in really stupid ways, I might add. So you can have the head and just have the arms on your head, and you're just rolling and just flopping arms. It's fucking crazy. It's one of the weirdest, most interesting games I've ever played. But the cool thing about it, is that the title of the game and the theme song comes from Dave Mustaine of Megadeth. He did the soundtrack for the whole game.
Did they advertise that at
Like,
all? I feel like that was never said like out loud.
They did. They did, but they didn't push it as forward nearly as much as they should have. But no, it's quite prominent.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
it's the thing.
the gameplay style is definitely like 90s like comedy horror, you know, like My Boyfriend's Back kind of movie, right?
Mhm.
Like they didn't. Yeah, exactly. They didn't like really go in that direction. Like this game had no marketing by no one. Only like 2 people in the store that I worked in knew about this game, right? And we had like one copy of it, and I rented it to like, oh, this is sick, like because I like weirdo games. You know, Nick will tell you.
It's weird.
Nick will tell you.
It's truly a weird game. Oh, and like he uses basically a big ass butterfly knife as a sword. It's a fucking weird game. Like I consider it a must play just on the basis of what the fuck is this? Like it's just to watch someone react to seeing that game play out on a stream would be worth the cost of entry. Like no, it's great. It's
Also,
fun.
Ace, does he look like another character of another game that you like playing? At least his outfit.
He does kind of look like Gene.
All right, I was hoping you'd catch that. All right, that's all it was. Yeah,
But I had to bring it in because you know what, game doesn't get repped enough.
absolutely.
It's just one of those people, or not one of those people. It's one of those games that just got slept on in such a weird way. Just like how we were talking about Freedom Wars before. It's like a lot of people miss this. They don't know that people were trying. They were really trying to be innovative, and I give full marks for innovation more than anything else. I'm old, right? It's like, come on, you guys. I'm 44. Show me something I've never seen before. I'm more likely to show up because I want to go, what you doing over here? Oh, look at you and your creative imagination. I would have never thought you could even do that in a game. No, I loved it. And that, to make a game where your character can't die, it's like, huh, neat. Let's see where you're going with this.
Short of being eternally digested by a Langolier or having a building dropped on you.
Right? Other than that, like, nope, not a damn thing will kill him. Getting blown up
I
is
always
depressing,
considered
though.
Never Dead to be like the counter game, not counter game, but the other game to Knight's Contract. Did you ever play Knight's Contract?
I
Okay,
didn't.
because in Knight's Contract, you don't die either, but if the witch that you're escorting throughout the whole game dies, you lose. So you have to protect her.
Oof.
That's how you get the game over. So check it out. I think it's a little bit different.
Almost, but not quite. Like Ico, where like
Yeah,
protecting her is really.
I think they
your
were
job.
still kind of trying to do God of War with that game, but with like a twist, basically, right? So, but like it's funny because like you would die, but then your body would fall apart, and you have to mash to get your body back together, like to reconstruct. Is really interesting. So, all right,
I do have one final, absolutely final game.
go
Just
for it, Ted.
to mention, Pray for the Gods, because it was controversial. Pray for the Gods is, long story short, it was made by a very, very small team. It went into early access on this day, and that's when they started getting bothered by Bethesda because of the word pray, and this turned
That's
into a
lame.
whole fucking battle. Yeah, so they ended up changing the title of the game from Pray, like Pray, to they added an E in there as well. And the game is kind of like this weird kind of combination between Shadow of the Colossus and Breath of the Wild. It's the damnedest thing. And it's Nordic too, so it's all icy cold and everything is fucking awful, and right. But and when I say like Zelda, like no, you have a hook shot, you be doing shit, just zip, and away you go. You're like, oh okay, and you're doing the parasail thing, but instead of stabbing the Colossus in the neck, you're ringing their bell, quite literally. Like you climb up on there, and there's like, it's almost like a combination lock kind of click, twist, pull it out, dong, and like this huge bell goes off. I played the hell out of it. Really different, really unique take on these existing ideas. Is it the world's greatest game? No, not at all. But it was one of those. It was one of those $14.99 darlings for me. Where
I
I'm
love
like,
those.
I'll try
Those are
it.
like one of my favorites, like finds.
Right? I just was like, all right, I take a look. Yeah, they had a little bit of crafting. They had just little nice little sample bites of everything. But no, I think it's a notable game that gets missed, and I think that's all I've got.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah. They
shut up
added.
before I make him
They
mad.
changed it from PREY to PRAEY for the gods on the PlayStation Store. Okay, I
Mhm.
see what they did there.
Yep, just to get out of being harassed by Bethesda.
Man, Bethesda, you bullied. It's like so far from Prey. Come on. Did they like
Very-
trademark it or something? Like candy?
yeah.
Oh my god. Serious?
Yes, they did. So they were, So they were like, "Nope, you're gonna step on our trademark. People will confuse it for this." They're like, "Are you
Yeah,
fucking serious?"
that's-
They're like, "We are very serious." They're like, "Fine, here." Like, and that's just how it went.
all right.
Sucks, but
It's all good.
it's just
Yeah.
how it is. That's
How you
how it
doing over
goes.
there? You guys ready for your final boss? Yeah? Okay, good. So am I. Let's do it. All right. So this session of the final boss specifically is going through our arc. Our arc here. Every final boss is like lightly associated with one another. For example, last week, what would it say? Play with intention, right? And then today we're doing pace, right? Choose your pace. So it's as if we're being very careful about the topics we're choosing for this arc of Gamer Quotient / Gaming Academy. But let's get to it. And let me know if you guys hear this terrifying music. All right. Playing with intention is the first step, but intention alone isn't enough for you to choose your pace. In games, pace is everything. You can sprint through a level, or you can walk, observe, and understand it. You can mash buttons, or you can learn timing, spacing, and rhythm. And the game will tell you pretty quickly which approach it rewards. Some games punish rushing. Souls games drain your stamina if you panic. Strategy games fall apart if you move without planning. RPGs lose their impact when you skip dialogue just to get to the next marker. But modern gaming culture keeps telling us to hurry. Finish the season, clear the pass, stay current, don't fall behind, and wherever in that rush, we stop listening to ourselves. Choosing your pace means recognizing this truth. Not every game needs the same version of you. Some nights you want intensity. Some nights you want comfort. Some nights you want challenge. And some nights you just want to exist in a world without pressure. That's not inconsistency. That's awareness. In games, pacing is a skill you learn. You learn when to push. You learn when to defend. You learn when to save resources. You learn when to retreat. Life works the same way. If you always play at max speed, burnout isn't a surprise, it's the result. Choosing your pace doesn't mean playing less. It means playing right. Right for your time, right for your energy, right for where you are in life. Because the best players aren't the fastest ones. They're the ones who know when to slow down, when to pause, and when to stop for the night, like Ace in Rogue Galaxy. So here's the challenge going forward. Don't ask how much you can play. Ask, what pace lets me enjoy this? What pace lets me learn? What pace lets me come back tomorrow without resentment? Because when you choose your pace, gaming stops feeling like a race and starts feeling like what it's always meant to be, an experience. You don't need more time, you need the right tempo. So, choose your pace. And that's your tonight's final boss. Awesome. Oh, Andre likes that one. Said bingo. Like what is that? Dante saying jackpot.
You know what? I absolutely agree with everything said there. Especially since, today is that 8th anniversary of Monster Hunter. That was an issue that we saw people encounter where they had that strong desire to keep up when Monster Hunter is not a keep up game. It's just you play Monster Hunter. One of the reasons I loved it is that there's no levels. It's just have you dealt with this thing yet or not? And I recall one guy that we played with who literally sat down and platted the game in like inside the
Oh,
first
God.
2 weeks, and he burned himself out
Yeah. I could say
completely. He
that's
burned
insane.
himself out. We saw him play maybe once or twice more, and then I've never seen him touch it since. Like he's just completely burned. So everyone's got a different speed. Everyone's got a different tempo. Don't play a game fast because someone else is demanding that you're doing it fast. You play at your pace. I happen to play through games hard and fast, but I've been streaming for 12 years. Like I've got a lot on my plate. I've got a kid, so I don't have time to dilly dally either, right? I got to treat it like a smash and grab, in out get grab. Like there's not much time, and Nick is experiencing that very problem now, right? You're gonna get in there and you're gonna start playing real mean, real hard, real fast, right? You're gonna get in there and you're gonna do some bully shit. When some of us don't have the time to take the scenic tour, as it were, and so just think about your own situation, think about what you're in. And I also want to encourage you, if you can take the scenic tour in a game, absolutely take the scenic tour, right? Go over that hill and go see what's there. Go do something silly, right? Think if, Cinerus, one of my boys, I know how to, in Monster Hunter, I know how to play every single weapon, like adeptly, at a minimum level. I understand every weapon in Monster Hunter because sometimes I run into situations that dictate that that weapon be the thing that really gets the drop on a monster. And I want to make sure I use every tool available. But he uses every weapon for a different reason. He's the only other person I personally know, that can play every weapon on the same level as I can. He's going, I'm getting the maximum value of the money I spent. He's like, fuck it, there's 14 weapons. I'm gonna play all the damn weapons. He's getting his money's worth. I'm like, that's fair. Like, right? So we approached it from different reasons, but ultimately we're still getting through that whole breadth of that content. Don't spend your money on places where you aren't going to use it, is something my wife loves to say. Spend your money where you use it, right? If you find that game that you just fucking love, right, and you're having a good time, and you're like, this is the thing that does it for me. If you're a Sims 3 junkie and you're like, I got to have all the pack stuff because I love playing The Sims, then fuck it, get the pack stuff, right? Don't let anybody else tell you, right? You, like I said, play with purpose and play at your. You decide the pace of when you're ready to move forward. If you're like, you know what, right now I'm only going to play games from the Wii and on the Wii. Like, you can go out and get yourself a used Wii and you're going to go build yourself a Wii collection. There is literally nowhere is it stated that the following things, that you have to be playing anything current gen. Nowhere is it stated that you have to have the biggest, baddest, strongest machine to play games on Steam or PC or whatever, right? You don't have to play current releases. You don't have to, just because the crowd's doing shit doesn't mean it's the right thing for you, right? You get to decide how you're going to enjoy it. Nobody else decides for you, right? No one else gets to define what fun is for you. If you don't like Dark Souls, don't play it, right? I happen to fucking hate Elden Ring. So I platted it so I never have to play it again. I was like, listen, I'm already in. You already got my money. I'm going to get this plant. I'm going to do everything in this game possible because I am not enjoying this experience at all. And I haven't. I haven't touched it since. I know I won't. But I'm going to go back and play Sekiro because, boy, that game is smoking hot. Right? Make sure that you follow his instructions. This man is trying to tell you how to enjoy your gaming experiences better, right? And help you get there. So value up, pain down, right? Enjoyability, sky fucking high. That's what's
There you
up.
go. Ace?
I mean, it honestly, when it comes to, as far as choosing your pace, right? It comes back to how you manage your time and how much you respect your time. Because if you're going to be going into a game and you want to take the scenic route, that means you are actively making the decision on how much time you want to spend on a game. And the only person, the only arbiter of whether or not that time is going to be well spent, that's you.
That is you.
So again, like you, time is a currency. Time is a currency we can't get back. So it is up to you not only to respect it, but it's also up to you to decide how you want to spend it.
Well said. Well said.
Didn't we at one point talk about knowing when to throw in the towel?
Mhm.
Well, this is, it ties right back into that. If you're sitting down and you're playing a game, and someone says, "Hey, it gets good in 2 hours," and then everything starts popping. You could probably afford to wait 2 hours and check and see if it does in fact start popping. But if you're sitting there for 8 hours and you hate the experience, don't be like me and be like, "I'm gonna hate black this game just to show you," right? It's okay to walk away from a game that is not respecting your time, because time's a currency, as stated, and none of us know how much of it we have. We don't know, so don't waste it on things that aren't fulfilling for you. Like, there's no need. There's no reward for it, right? There's not going to be some big banner that says, "Look at this guy who fucking suffered," right? Like, "Yay, we love him." No, there's none of that. It's just going to be you mad and going, "I wasted that time and I can never get it back." It's okay to walk away from games that just aren't clicking for you. This, for me, when I do it, it makes people fucking mad. But I got to do what's right for me. Ace knows the biggest game that I did that with, Nier Automata.
Mhm.
I sat down, I played that demo. I was literally falling asleep playing. I was like, nope. I was like, it's crap. And I walked away from it. And everyone's been fucking mad at me ever since that release. I'm like, no, I'm literally falling asleep playing it. Why? I don't know why. It's like, you narcoleptic? I'm not narcoleptic. It just
And I mean,
bored me
and
to
again,
tears.
as
Like,
much as I enjoyed the game, me actually, being able to dig through to the parts where it starts, where it starts popping off, I also know that some people just won't get to that point.
and the worst part is, it's got all this shit that I like in there. It's like, look, there's chicks, swords, robots, right? I'm like, I love all those things, but for some reason,
Just doesn't click. Yeah.
it didn't fire off the neurons. It didn't activate my almonds, and I was like, walk away from it. I can't afford to spend all my time all this when I've got all these other things to play, right? I mean, what year did that come
Oh
out?
man. Like middle 2010s, right?
Yeah.
No, that came out in 2000. 2017, right? That came out March 7th,
So short.
2017.
Switch hit.
Why the? I was gonna say, why the fuck would I be playing that when Breath of the Wild is right there? Like, no, that game blew my mind, and I don't care for Zelda games, which is a perfect example. For the most part, I'm not a Zelda fan. It doesn't mean I dislike Zelda, not at all. I've played quite a few Zelda games and have enjoyed them, but I'm not. It's not like with Monster Hunter where I'm like, I don't give a fuck what's going on. If Monster Hunter comes out, I'm gonna be playing it. No, it's just like, oh, okay, that one doesn't look interesting to me, so I'll pass. Right? Kind of like Metroid, same way. Breath of the Wild, hell no. I got in there, I was like, these actual maniacs threw the whole fucking recipe out, started over, and still made it feel like Zelda. I have played through that game. I'm now on my fourth playthrough with the Switch 2 edition. The whole reason I picked up the Switch 2 was to play that shit in 60 FPS. That was the only reason. I was like, oh, you port those up? Yep, sold. I was like, that's it. It was like, really? Yes, I really enjoyed that game and the sequel. See, that's what I'm talking about. In that same time frame where everyone's gushing about Nier, it did nothing for me. And a franchise that would typically make me sleep, man, my ass was awake. I was playing. Oh my god, I put like 400 hours into Breath of the Wild. I ran everywhere. I did everything. I harassed every horse you could imagine. I, I did so much criminal shit, and it didn't get better in Tears of the Kingdom. I was throwing myself across the map, doing the dumbest shit imaginable. And I wish they would do a third one just so I could fucking do it all over again. Right? That's one of the few couple of games where I wish I could go back in time or erase my brain for that section so I could play it again for the first time because they were magical.
Well, if you're into Muso games,
He's like, we got Hyrule Warriors. It's sitting right there, nephew. and I've been meaning to play them. I just haven't gotten to them yet. But my long-winded ass talking was to, again, spend your time where you value it. If you're having fun with it, fuck what anybody else says. Fuck what that guy says, what I say. It doesn't matter. It's your time. It's your money, right? You go have fun with it. If I see that you're having fun with the game, there's only one thing you need to know. I'm really glad that you're having fun. I am. Like, genuinely. Like, I don't even care. I don't even care. It's simple. I don't care what system a person plays on. If they're like, hey, I'm like, hey man, what you playing? They're like, I'm playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on my N-Gage. Good for you, man.
Oh
I said the fucking N-Gage. You
That
heard
was
me.
none of my bingo cards. Heard N-Gage.
If someone said, man, I'm getting it in on my Ouya, I'm like, well, go get yours, man. Whatever you got to do, man. Fuck it. I don't care where you're playing. I just care that people are playing. That's the thing that matters to me. I love people who play video games, and I don't give a fuck where they're playing them.
Now, this is a show for gamers by gamers. You heard it right.
That's the
You heard it
story.
right here, folks.
He said the N-Gage. Yes, I was there, man. You know what? I'm starting to feel like Elroy. Right? I haven't seen some shit in my time. I was there, Henry. I was there when the N-Gage
The night was
launched.
over when you
Both
guys
of
told
them.
me Coffee Talk was Shadowrun. I was done. I
Like,
was like, no, they're right. I hate
Oliver,
that.
listen, man, you are Bucky. You were there when Lord of the Rings first released in 1937.
Ain't that a bitch? How do you know about Gandalf? Because I read it when it came out.
Like, don't utter the words to me, witch. I was there when it was made.
Yes, that's right. The deep magic. I was fucking there, man. Oh no, I was there for the 3DO and the Panasonic CDI and both Zelda games that we don't want to talk about. I've been around.
We need a
for
lost
very long
episodes
time.
that Nick's gonna run for us. We love lost.
Woo, we
Yeah.
dig deep.
Oh man, I can't wait. Can't wait.
I know about plumbers don't wear ties.
Oh.
I was there for the controversy of Night Trap, which was fucking nothing. Like, no, I've seen it. Oh man, I'm having some video game PTSD now.
Yeah. Shadowrun was named twice tonight, and one of those I didn't like. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this passionate episode of Class Session 63 of the Gaming Academy. Tonight was all about pace, not speed, not efficiency, but rhythm. Understanding when to push forward, when to slow down, and when to call it for the night. Huge thanks to Blazing Ace Nelson and art historian Oliver for bringing their insight, experience into the classroom tonight. And to Nick, wherever you are, we hope you're feeling better, bud. We'll keep your seat warm. If you enjoyed tonight's class, make sure you're following us, all of us, on Twitch and YouTube. And if you want to support the Academy, check out the Gamer Quotient merch store. Links are always in the description there. And we'll be back next session with more discussion, more deep dives, and more intentional gaming next week. But until then, choose your pace. Class dismissed.
Mission complete.
Salute. That takes